Sure. Like the face of a sunflower?
Where are the spirals?
You see this math everywhere.
Welcome back to the Gnostic Informant, and you are about to attain true gnosis.
Oh, God. Oh, God. What is Jesus doing?
What is going on, dude? That was a good intro. Because we have to have a little, showdown. And this is kind of like circus in a way for some people, But it's about the sources at the end of the day. That's what it's about. It's about getting to the truth. It's about the logos, reason, the account, making an account for our past. So I want to start this off going back to where this all began, because I know there's a lot of confusion on some of the details. Why does it have to be prepubescent? What's going on with this? Where does all this started from? So I have a queued up clip, and we're going to get into all the sources. I'm going to show Galen. We're going to show your sources. Plenty of the elders in the house. We got Galen in the house. We're going to read a lot of fun sources today. So I'm first going to play a clip, and this is going to set the context for why we're even having this discussion. What is this whole entire thing about? And it goes back to one of the first interviews that Ammon Hillman years ago on this channel right here.
The medical side, if you look in Galen, the Sindon is a medicated wrap that you give to a boy who's administering an antidote in a mystery rite. And that boy's antidote comes through his ejaculation. Prepubertal.
Remember, prepubertal, it has to be. Because why?
And the doctors describe, Galen has a section of his antidotes that describes what prepubertal boy semen is like. What it looks like, what its texture is, what it's useful for, what religion uses it. and milk from young girls that they were.
So Stephen actually is the one who found it. We hunted down the source from Galen. We found the only time Galen ever mentions mystery. Well, he sometimes, very rarely, often talks about mystery religions, just very like briefly. There's a lot of time, but ever in associated with like a little kid or a bandage, there's nothing except for this. So this right here is Galen's De Theriaca ad Paisonem. And we have the Greek on this side, and we have just a standard translation on the other. So let's just focus on the Greek for a second. Hote garsuton paidon ophilatos, beloved or dearest. Tain peri around, something, that's what it means. Around, it could mean on, but in this case it means around. To peritonanion. So this word right here. We actually have a link for this. This is it's like an abdomen. So let me just real quick, just so we all know what this is. So we're not going to debate on this. Peritoneum is actually, this word comes from the Greek. It's the same word, and it's your abdomen. It's your side, or it's close to your. It could be close to your private parts, I guess. But that's pretty much what he's describing here in the Greek. Now, to go back to the source, what does Galen say? Galen says, so there was horseback riding going on, Hebrean horseback riding, and he says, Musterion, Ierugos, performer of the Mysterion, the holy Mysterion, or worker, that's from that root ergos, but it's got that holy Yero. So holy worker of the mysteries. That's in the genitive, of the mysteries. So standard translation, there's no the standard. So we have a holy worker of the mysteries, right? Dia, which usually means through. Threskeia, because I guess it's because of her, through religious ritual, Threskeia ritual, right? Religious rites. All right, so far, where Galen's talking about something about a holy worker, performer, I guess you can translate it as. I would even throw a holy performer of the mysteries. And he says, Tain huper romayon theon. Tain huper, behalf over Roman gods, plural. Behalf of the Roman gods. Okay. So I'm just going really slow through this because I know people think he doesn't know how to read Greek. He just looks at the translation. I'm trying to break it down without even just ignore just ignore this. I'm just breaking it down one by one. We have a performer of the mysteries. So far, it's like, holy shit. What else do we have? Paidon, a child. By the way, this is what's so interesting about this source. It doesn't say Neaniskos. So this doesn't match up with Mark because it's a child. So the fact that he thinks this, if this would have said Neaniskos, would have been like, okay, but it's not a Neaniskos. It's an actual child. So so you got to think about this. You can't apply this to Mark. If this one's about Paidion and Mark's about Neaniskos, they're not the same. They're different.
Yeah, but you're assuming that whoever wrote Mark used that Neaniskos term to describe the actual Greek rituals
because of the primary sources. Because of the primary source, I can justify that. You
have to tie in the ritual to it, though. So if the term doesn't match the ritual aspect of it, it doesn't make any sense.
No. We're talking about this source right here. First of all, we have a child here. So if there's a ritual involving a paidon, and then another source mentions a Neaniskos, that's it's not the child anymore. It's a different age group.
Yeah,
based on all the primary sources before
finish this one up, and then we'll jump into.
Yep, I'm just throwing this out there. He's not. It's not a Neaniskos. It's an actual child. It's an actual paidon in this one. And when he's a mystery worker, he's a horseback rider, a child horseback rider. It's very fascinating. By the way, I'm actually not surprised about this. I've actually heard about this in Strabo. Strabo mentions 12-year-old children dancing around a fire dressed as soldiers. And it was a ritual of the Eleusinian mysteries, he says. I think this says something about Samothrace as well, in Phrygia. And then
Yes,
he says,
but that's still not the ritual that's in Mark.
I'm not talking about Mark. I'm just showing this is what this is.
I know, but you're now you're starting to get into my mental framework, right? So we're talking about a bunch of festivals and rituals. Like the Egyptians had thousands of festivals.
I know. I'm talking about this one, dude. Relax. Talking about this one right here. Horseback riding kids. And I'm saying I'm not surprised because I've heard about this before in Strabo. So he's talking about these horseback riding for the Roman gods. And what does he say? We'll just, we can kind of skip ahead a little bit. What happens though? And he says, these children, these paidas, they ride horses, epeoantas, rhythmically, eruthmos. So they're doing rhythmic dancing on horses. Dangerous shit right here. They're doing rhythmic dancing on horses, and they're kids, they're children. You know what he says? He says, Ede tina ton mysterion. They had to perform the mystery. They themselves had to perform the mysteries, right? All right, next page. What happened? He says, Hote de kai tu paidos tu su. What does that mean? Indeed, this child, apalu tu klantontos panu. Very delicate child in the area, hotos, right? What happened? Perithlases, he's been bruised, badly bruised. Biaios as upsetete, violently separated. Ton hupakelmenon, underlying tissues. So he's all fucked up, right? And what happened? If kai met atu puan. That's literally where we get. It's literally the word pus, puan, pus. That's where we get the word pus from. So this child gets injured and it gets infected, and it starts to collect pus. I'm guessing Ammon reads this as semen for some reason. That's what I'm guessing. Which, if he did, he's lying because this is not semen.
Any excrement is going to be semen in his
Exactly. So what does he say? He says it requires just to finish this up. It requires an incision, and they treated it, and I don't know if it says they did it with a sin note or not. I think they do. I think there should be another page coming on, but either way, this is the only thing you can find with a child being involved in mysteries and some sort of pus happening. So my guess is that he thinks this has to do with ejaculate or something, but it's the word pus.
So I'm trying to like figure out like the contention, I guess, here. So you're like looking at the involvement of potentially children and different cults, ritual rites, transformative rites, whatever you want to call them, and that is the thing that is spooky about the Bible, or are you like against the idea that I know that, but I'm just trying to figure out the position. So is it specifically about that there's a little kid in the Bible, or is it about
where is there a little kid in the Bible?
Okay, so if there's, well, I'll let Tiger handle that, but like that there's no ritual in the Bible. That's my whole dig. Is what are you
talking about Mark 14 right now?
I'm talking about like pretty much the entire like archetype story of Jesus. Yeah.
There's some
with his fishermen and tax collector disciples.
Or
you're talking about the one with John with the kid laying on his lap.
The nature of all of the cultic texts and how they're operative. That's my thing. Tiger's got the kid. He's like he'll bring
right,
that.
so,
but I'm talking about the whole idea that these are operative texts, and it's not just in the plot points, which the symbolic is carrying. It's in the actual how the language works.
Before we get to the Bible, let me ask you guys this: did you see anything from Galen just now that struck you as like little kids being used to extract antidotes for the burning purple? Did you see anything involving that?
No.
No. But here's what I'd have to say. I'd have to go look and see if that was cultic text, like the cultic
mysteries.
Okay, cultic texts are operative. Yeah, they are operative. Like,
but hold on.
Hey, Chase, we'll get there. Just answer.
Yeah, you got it.
What we looked at, no, we didn't see what you're saying. So.
But hold on. Let's just. I'm really trying to focus on this text right here because Galen in De Theriaca is talking about a child, literally a child, being involved in the mystery rites, and he gets injured, and he has pus coming out of him.
Yep.
I'm just saying, we all agree this is just Galen's just being very straightforward about what's going on here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're not here to
No
have some
shady
weird
vocabulary.
interpretation.
Look, if Ammon has an actual source besides this one, and there's another one out there that just isn't on the TLG for some reason, and we just can't find it, and he's the only one who has access to it, let's find it. I'm
not even here to bring up.
And you're right, you guys aren't Ammonites, but I wanted to start it off with why we're even talking about the kid and the garden and all that stuff, since we're on the same topic. But yeah, you're right. Let's move on from Galen, and we can go to another one.
Well, so real quick though, does it make sense when, we try to comprehend that the way that they spoke and the way that these words work are not at all how we comprehend and communicate them? This happened to me when I was talking with Mandy, and he kept going on the word smell, right? Well, turns out that when they were putting that word, especially in occult text, and especially in something you would hide and keep or use as technology to, XYZ, there's going to be a lot of motives behind that, protect, preserve. That smell was the ingestion of like a god from the altercation of the air, of something that it had been, the god had turned into the air, and you picked it up, right? And then that means you ingested the god. So when we're saying smell, and it's like, well, it smells like a steak, that's not at all how they were talking, right? But I can start making a whole bunch of metaphors and talk myself in
Double entendres you're talking about?
What I'm talking about is the way that the language works. Like in cultic text, there is no reason for these special texts to be preserved and to be guarded and to be special if they are talking about simple parables and metaphors that are like non-functional, and they're also not very intelligent. Like, oh my gosh, the secret of the universe is inside me. Like, no one gave a shit about that.
I have no idea what you're talking about. You have to show me what you're talking about. Well,
okay.
I just want to show you though. I just want to show one more thing real quick though before we move on to that. I just want to I want people to see that Strabo mentions this. This is well known about these the warrior dancers. Talk about the Curites. He says the girls and the youths, the very young. I think from what I heard, they're 12 years old. They turn 12, and they as soon as they turn 12, they get involved with this ritual. That's what I heard. It doesn't say it here on Strabo, but I remember talking about this with another scholar who says it's 12 years old.
Let me jump in here, Neil.
Hold on. Let me just finish reading this. He says, it is reasonable to suppose that the war dance was first introduced by persons who were trained in this particular way in the matter of hair and dress, and being called the Curites, and that this dance afforded a pretext to those who were more warlike than the rest and spent their life under arms, and that they came to be called by the name Curites. I mean the Curites in Euboea, Aetolia, Arcania, and indeed Homer applied this to the young soldiers. Choose thou the noblest of young men. This is a quote from Homer. And he says, from all the Achaeans, and bring the gifts to swap ship. And we promised yesterday to Achilles, and again, the young men of the Achaeans bring the gifts, so that the etymology of the word Curites, the war dance, was a soldier's dance. And this plainly indicated both by the Pyrrhic dance and the Pyrrhicus. And there's images of this in ancient Greece inscribed of like naked dancers with just shields on. They literally have a helmet, a shield, and they're completely naked. And this kind of training for young men also treats as a military affair. So we know about these rituals. This is like exoteric. It's not even esoteric. This is pretty well known stuff.
Yes. So let me preface this. Good job on finding ritual in these texts. That's the first start, right? But we need to talk about how the rituals are different, and how Mark 14 and 16:5 is the ritual of the 10-year-old kid, essentially in the Greek, Egyptian, and Babylonian context of those rituals, and why Ammon is saying, but he's not the only one. I have like 5 other scholars that literally wrote papers and books on this shit.
Why 10 years old?
Why 10 years old? So first text, if you want to open up, is Aristophanes, our boy Aristophanes.
It's in Loeb, Aristophanes.
Aristophanes. You can find whatever version of it that you want.
He's all Aristophanes is in Loeb. Which one? Lysistrata. Yeah, I'm very familiar with this text.
641 through 647. In
All
this
right.
passage of the chorus.
Hold on. I can pull it up.
You want to pull it up? Okay.
Yeah, of course I want to pull it up. Lysistrata. All right, which verse is it?
It's line 641 through 647.
641. So, citizens of Athens, we begin by offering the city a valuable advice and fitting, for she raised me in a splendid luxury. And as soon as I turned 7, I was Aripharos. Then, when I was 10, I was a grinder for the foundress. And shedding my saffron robe, I was a bear at the Broronia. Once again, when I was a fair girl, I carried the basket wearing the necklace of dried figs. This is about women, right?
This is in a ritualistic context, Dave.
But this is about women, though. You know that, right?
I do know that.
Okay.
So we're talking about children just overall, okay? So we're going to get into other sources of text that bring into why kids are involved in particular.
No one's doubting that there's kids involved in ritual. I already started that up.
We're talking about you want to talk about prepubescent? I mean, it's actually in these texts.
Wait. You're saying that there's prepubescent children in mystery rites?
Absolutely.
No one's doubting that.
Okay.
No one said no. We're being very specific. Everyone knows in Eleusis, Samothrace, Phrygia, Rome, Egypt, wherever the fuck you want. All ages of people are involved in the rituals. It's like going to mass where you see an altar boy.
Okay, good.
Not a single person has doubted that there's young kids involved in these rituals.
Oh, I highly doubt that.
No. I'm serious.
I know you. I'm not talking to every. I'm saying most people when they talk about
that's not true. Any classicist, they all agree that little kids are involved in rituals. It's in Herodotus. It talks about this.
We just don't associate it.
There's no secret. There's no special. This is not a surprise.
Yep.
What I'm contesting is where's the source where those children are being taken, and whether it's the eunuch thing is one thing, because there are examples of children being made into eunuchs, and that's whatever. But I'm talking about in a ritualistic sense. I'm talking about a ritualistic sense where they're taking the kids and extracting drugs from their bodies that make burning purple with it. That's a very specific thing.
Okay, so I had a bunch of slides on going over this, and I'm glad that you're agreeing to all that already. So
yeah, I'm just trying to clarify where we're trying to look for.
Yeah, so let's clarify. If you want to get into that right off the bat, PGM and the PDM is where you got to go.
PGM?
PGM and the PDM. They're both magical papyri.
Well, okay. So Aristophanes it's just girls being involved in the rites?
Well, I had about 10 slides of showing that there were prepubescent kids in these rites, specifically with linen cloths and sedonas, so that we could ease into the ritual, right? And the PGM has
that's the word for linen
ritual that Mark 14 and Mark 16:5 is. I'm
confused here. Because it's the word for linen cloth is sindon. Yeah. So whenever you find that, why would you presuppose Mark 14 or something? Why would you presuppose medicated bandage? You know what I mean?
Let me read it.
I think what he's trying to say is that the writers of Mark 14:51 are trying to, in their own way, make a symbolic reference to what we've agreed on with the minors in the ritual.
Well, you have to establish it's a minor first of all. It's a Neaniskos. Where are we getting the minor from?
Well, so this is exactly where the miscommunication I think is coming in, because I've been listening to both sides of the perspective. So the writers of this book putting Neaniskos instead of putting the word for somebody younger was just up to the writer. But that's, in my opinion, if that's what the writer was trying to do, or the team of writers, there's only Neaniskos a couple of times, in the New Testament, right? And if the writers are trying to portray Jesus in a more positive light, then they're going to make the guy older when they're retelling the story. So like in my book, where the Romans that write the Bibles.
Wait, whoa.
They
You're saying, hold on a second.
You see what I'm saying?
No. This doesn't make any sense. You're saying that the author of Mark knew about another story that we lost where it used to be a PAIDIon, but then he changed the story in Mark and changed it to a Neaniskos to make it sound better?
They're not stories. They're operations.
Right, but here's the thing.
It's a technology, man.
You guys think Jesus actually did this stuff in real history? Like a guy named Jesus actually was in a garden and somebody sat there and watched it and wrote it down?
No, it's a cult text.
That's the thing.
Okay, we all agree. This is all mythology. We all agree on that.
No, that's not okay. Okay, what you say by mythology and symbol are totally different than how I view it. Symbolic is not abstract. It doesn't mean that like a dove symbolically represents peace. That's only how we interpret it with our language now. Symbolic was laying out things that were operations, and when you interacted with them and had that experience, the symbol was created, and you'd engineer a specific symbolic experience, right? So cultic texts, you have eyes that hear and ears that see, or ears that hear and eyes that see. It is telling you operations, the steps you do, what you take, what you do when you see this, what you're going to do along the way, or whatever else. And when you, as the initiate, interact with that symbolic, those things by themselves mean nothing. It's just like a film playing in the forest.
Okay, fine.
But when I interact with them, I have that experience. So that's what these cultic texts are. They're not stories. They're not historical accounts.
So if someone's writing down the story and they're trying to, it's
not a story. They're hiding technology.
Technology. It's a story.
Yes.
It's a text.
If Tiger Shark tells me,
hold on. Someone's writing down a text. When you're writing down a text, you're trying to convey something to the reader. Yeah. So Mark 14 is to me, it's a weird passage.
Instructions.
It's instruction. I don't know what you mean by instructions.
If Tiger Shark.
Is it telling
people
guys,
people to go out and rape kids? Let me go from the top with Neil on this very simply.
Yeah, I don't understand what you mean by instructions though.
Okay.
Is it telling people to go out and meet and find a little kid and extract drugs from them?
What's happening in Mark 14? And forget about whatever Ammon is saying about it. Let's not start with whatever he says. But you can pull up.
Well, what do you say? Let me ask you. What do you say Mark 14 is?
There's a kid with a cloth that falls.
Where are you getting kid from?
Let's say he's 15.
The word is Neaniskos. We have.
If you want to call him 30, let's call him 30. Okay, let's call him 30.
No, it doesn't have to be 30. I don't know what it is.
It doesn't.
You're right. It doesn't matter, but it's probably somewhere between 15 to 30. I don't know because it doesn't tell us this.
You can own it all you want. 15 to 30. Let's just go with you. But now you're going to have to answer me questions, right? So what's happening in Mark 14 with this kid, and where does he reappear again? What chapter and verse does he reappear in Mark?
So there's one theory that the Neaniskos is the one who appears at the tomb at the end, but not everyone thinks that.
Yes, and what is he doing in the tomb?
He's wearing white, or what? Like he's
wearing a white robe. Yeah,
but not everybody agrees that it's the same character. Some people do. You're right. You're right. A lot of people do. A lot of people think the Neaniskos in the garden is the one that shows up later. Let's assume that. Let's assume that for the sake of this argument to make it super simple.
Yes.
Let's assume it's the same guy. Let's not even fight that right now.
Yes.
So what's the point?
So what you're going to have to tell me, if we're going to go with that, is the ritual context, which is literally the Greek, Egyptian, Babylonian rituals that they're already doing, and we find it in the PGM. We can pull that up. Same linen cloth, young boy, 10 years old. But in every instance, it's a 10-year-old kid, a boy. Why? Because it's a pure virginity thing. Aristotle talks about these ages and why purity matters. They don't have an ego. They're already pure. They actually use them in the PGM to look at oil and water because they're not corrupted. They're pure. So their vision on the journey, on the psychedelic.
Most of the PGM is written after the gospel. Most of the PGM
that's 100% false.
No, it's not. It's not.
Yes,
it's not. It's
written in the fourth, but those same recipes and those same procedures are traced back. DDA, man.
No. There are some layers of the PGM that are older. I have a whole book about the dating and all that stuff.
They've been doing it a lot older, and we literally found the linen cloth in a cave in
Turkey. If it mentions Abraxas, it's after the first century. It's the second.
I agree. Yes.
Abraxas was literally invented by Basilides.
Yes, I'm not arguing that. Yeah. Yes, it carried on a big bulk, but they weren't just making it up in the fourth. They were
There's actually proto-Abraxas figures, but they're not called Abraxas. And actually, the name Abraxas comes from the horse mentioned in Homer. Homer mentions Abraxas, but it's not the guy with that bird head and the legs. He literally says one of the horses of the sun is called Abraxas.
Yeah.
That's where the name comes
from. I agree with you. Yeah. I agree with you. So back to the Mark 14 and 16:5 where he shows up again. The reason why this is a ritual doublet in the linen cloth and the robe That's hands down ritual going down everywhere all over the Mediterranean, my guy. Like everywhere. We can pull up all of those if you want to.
Wait, what do we mean? Everything's on the Mediterranean. What's that?
They're doing 10-year-old boy rituals in the linen cloth, and when the cloth gets
ritual?
The cloth is pulled off, and then.
Okay. Can you share screen, Tiger Shark?
Yeah. Hang on. Let me get the PGM.
I got the PGM. Want me to do a word search for it?
Yeah. I got to tell you where it is. I mean, PGM's pretty
okay.
I thought what they were trying to say was ultimately that it word for word, it's not exactly like these older mystery rites were, but that it was altered because of what the Bible was. They've taken away the kid aspect of it and made him a young man.
How do you know that though? You're just assuming that.
It's an assumption. It's an assumption. Yeah, totally.
That's fine.
Yeah, but
no,
because
it's not an assumption.
It's
not an assumption because Neil, I'm going to bring up all these sources, and at the end of it, if you want to still have the position that you don't agree with it, then you're going to have to show me a ritual.
Can I just ask you this? Are you taking one element from one source?
That's in the same ritual because they don't exist.
Are you taking one thing? This source mentions purple. This source mentions a 10-year-old kid. That source mentions a white robe. And just putting them all. That's not.
I'm not even bringing up burning purple, dude. That's just something.
But the reason why I'm so pushing back against that type of methodology is you can just make up whatever you want and find it. You can go out and just find it.
Dude, you're not listening to the method. Listen to the method. I'm talking about. If there's a ritual with a linen cloth and later the person shows up with a robe on, that same context is literally in other rituals, but always with a prepubescent.
All right, let's see it. Let's see it. Where is it?
But you're telling me that ritual in Mark is with a 20-year-old. And I'm asking you.
I don't know the age.
Then show me where other rituals are with 20-year-olds doing that same shit because they don't exist.
There's no ritual in Mark, in my opinion.
You're disagreeing with other scholars too, because you want to sit there.
Most scholars think he resurrected.
Okay, so Neil, you think it's just a fictional story?
Yes. The consensus. If there was a consensus, hold on, stop, hold on. I already know there's scholars. There's tons of scholars that say all types of shit. Fucking Gary Habermas is a PhD. He thinks Jesus resurrected for real in history. I don't care if you mention scholars. All right, but. If I was to say if there was a consensus, which I don't even think there is on this text, it's such a weird text, but if probably a 60%, I'm just guessing, probably most people I've talked to think what's going on in Mark 14 is Jesus just lifted up someone out of the grave, and that's why he's wearing a sindone, because it's literally a burial shroud, and it falls off him as he runs away.
So they just
if it was a novel,
random shit, and they're not doing any ritualistic.
Well, let's see why. Let's read the text real quick. This is Mark 14. Then we'll go to the PGM. So
you have to do Mark 14 and then Mark 16:5.
Okay, we'll do both. Okay. Mark 14, which one is it again? It's
49.
49. Okay. And they see, and so here we go. So Kai, Este, Neaniskos. I'm just gonna read the I like the NASB, it's the best one because it's the most up to date in my opinion, 2020. All right. So a young man wearing nothing but a linen garment. Why did my computer just freeze? All right. A young man wearing. Wait, okay, this is it? 49. A young man was following him, wearing nothing but a linen sheet over his naked body, and they seized him. But he pulled free of the linen sheet, and he escaped naked. They led Jesus away to the high priest and all the chiefs of the elders inscribed together, blah, blah, blah. So right before this, what was happening was, it says right here, where are they? My soul is, hold on, I'm trying to find, as he was saying, so he says, keep watching and praying so that you will not come in temptation. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. And he again went and prayed the same words. And again, he came. So he's doing something. He's praying for something. And then it says, he came and found them sleeping, for their eyes were heavy, and they did not know what to say to him in reply. And he came to the third time, and he says, are you still sleeping and resting? This is enough. The hour has come. Behold, the Son of Man is betrayed at the hands of sinners. Get up, let's go. Behold, the one is betraying me is near. And then this all happens. So it was something weird. It's a weird passage. It's really confusing, but there's a lot of different theories on it. You can point to a scholar and say, he says this, so it has to be right. I don't care because there's so many different views. To tell you the truth, I don't even have an opinion on this verse. I don't even know what to say about it. I'm agnostic on what's going on here.
especially at this point when everyone's had
Yes.
so many different.
I'm not even saying I agree with the resurrection thing. I think that even sounds weird to me. It's just one of this. Mark 14 is strange. That's what I'm saying right now.
Okay, now go to 16:5.
All right. 1650?
16:5.
Oh, just glitching out for a second. And then he said, do not be amazed. You are looking for Jesus, the Nazarene, who's been crucified. He has risen. He is not here. This is the place where they laid him. But go and tell the disciples. And then they fled out of the tomb, trembling, astonishment. They said nothing to anyone. Which one is it? You talking about before 5?
Yeah. No, 16:5. It's
16:5 is, and they were wearing, and he entered the tomb, and they saw. Oh, here it is, right here.
Yeah,
and they
you
saw,
read it wrong.
a young man, and it's the same word, Neaniskos, sitting at the right, wearing a white robe, and they were amazed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
This
the
not
completion, if he's the young man, the Neaniskos, like you say.
let's assume
right?
it is. Let's assume it is.
Right? That's the
Okay.
doublet, and that doublet is literally in the rituals.
All right, let's see it.
Okay, you got the PGM.
PGM?
open?
Yeah.
Let's see. I was on one about spittle. We can talk about that later too.
It's funny. I flip right to this. Naked on the linen. I flip right to this.
Which one is
Wrap
that?
yourself like
It's
a
just
corpse.
everywhere.
Yeah, like look at wrap yourself like a corpse. Close your eyes and keeping. That's weird. That's like I just flipped to this by accident.
It's just a metaphor. They're just
Okay.
It's just,
That's funny.
Yeah. So let's see. Yeah. So there's a bunch of them, but let me
Which-
find
You got
exactly.
I can do word search. I can go by pages.
No, don't do that because if you type in semen, there's a lot of it.
Is it really? Actually, it's a lot. Oh, it's,
how are we having this conversation when it's like this shit's everywhere?
we got 16
There is
hits.
semen
Oh, but here's
on
the thing. No one
everything.
denies all this, though. No one
Gotta
denies.
guard these texts, and they all got semen in it.
Yeah, but no one denies that there's semen in tech. No one denies that there's
I
castration
know,
involved.
but like it's
We're
just-
talking about very
it's too funny.
specific claims. Very specific claims. One about Mark 14. Two about something about extracting antidotes from children and using it for burning purple mystery rites. That's what I'm like. I'm not surprised
that.
about anything else. I'm not surprised about finding semen and sex and drugs. No one denies that stuff. You know what I mean?
You know how movies today will make and y'all were talking about this last night with Steven. They'll make the disciples 35 years old with beards down to their freaking tits. That's what I was
You mean
getting
like
at.
the later depictions? Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's what I was getting
But
at.
you know what's funny? The oldest, the
Making them older.
farther back you go, the oldest depictions, you start to see them with no beards. They look like young.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
actually look like young men, and they actually depict them correctly.
Right, which is the same thing that I was sort of introducing with the idea that the writers of even Mark were doing the same thing that we do today, where he's changing stuff to make it the way that they would want it, because they were trying to get away from all of this
Yes.
stuff. So that's just my
Okay.
I'm a writer, and I've rewritten Mark 14:51 in my book. And I have a completely different take on it, obviously, than what we're doing, what we're talking about here. But like I said, because of the culture that's going to read it, my reputation, and everything that I would be trying to do with the book, I made it the way that I would want it to do, right? So the same way that movies today, like let's say there was a story about some drug dealer in the 80s, well, there wasn't really a Tony Montana. So, but it's based on other guys that were doing that and stuff, right?
There's tons of Jesus figures in the first century. Judas of the Galilean.
Yeah.
There's all these types of people like that. Yeah.
Right. So
All right, I
if
got it,
Rome-
man. It's PGM 1V.
Okay,
And
real quick, let me just read this off because it's related. Freemason equivalent is the youth in the garden. Maybe the youth in the empty tomb is an equivalent figure mystery ritual. Interesting. All right, which one is it?
PGM 1V 475 through 829. It's quite long, but it's known as the Mithras liturgy.
Oh yeah, I'm very familiar with this one.
Dude, it's nuts. It's nuts. The parallels between Mark 14.
1V. What is it? 5 what?
Yeah. 1V 475 through 8.
I'm right here.
825. It's quite a long one. I mean, 829.
Any particular word? Like, yeah, this is late though. You know that, right? This is like a little bit later than. This is like I want to say like 3rd century.
Yeah, but they're copying other rituals that were
Sure. That's fine. That's fine.
Shit.
That's
It's not
fine.
like they just made it up.
I'm just saying. I just want to make. I don't know if you're making the argument that it comes from this particular text. You can say what you're saying is this text is preserving something that goes back, and they're both drawing from that source.
And the main scholar that translated the PGM is actually saying that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go. You're talking about. What's Morton Smith?
He's not Morton.
Yes, he translated this. He did.
He translated the secret gospel of Mark as well.
Yeah, I know. He thinks there was something. He's one of the scholars who thinks there was some pederasty thing happening in. Well, he doesn't say pederasty, but he thinks there's some sexual thing happening in Mark 14.
Well, I'm not even talking about sexual stuff. So,
all right, which one is it?
I'm just talking about naked kids, man. I'm not talking about sexual stuff with kids. So I don't know what that's.
So what? So okay. So what are we looking for?
So Sindon, the linen cloth is ritual PGM 1V. You can go to 170 through 185. It talks about the linen cloth.
It's important to consider like the preservation of certain texts, right? Why the hell would a whole bunch of powerful families like cut off the education from everybody else and then preserve fairy tale fictions that are not very important, but guard them with their life? In fact, Catholic.
What do you mean by guard them? They're literally reading them out in churches every Sunday.
No, well, the Dark Ages were dark as hell, man. I think before that there was a lot of different
The only text they did read was the Bible. That's the only text.
They'd read to them.
The most accessible text of the Dark Ages was Christian literature.
They weren't literate. The priests were typically speaking at the people.
The
people had to keep their heads down as they spoke over them.
Until the late Enlightenment period.
Okay, great. So it's confirming it. So why would all of these like families guard all of these texts?
What do you mean by guard though?
I just mean that like only we can interpret them and only we can speak them to you if they were not operative to their command, to their control. If they were not something that had other things in them, right? If it's just a fairy tale, you might as well just save a Pulp Fiction novel from fucking 1,000 years ago. Actually, and then we're talking about it. But like these texts line up with all of the other patterns of all of the other.
You know what a non sequitur is?
And it's a technology that you would keep from somebody, and you would say things like, "If you have eyes that see and ears that hear," right? The mystery rites again. It's like closed off to the uninitiated. And then the complete process once you get through it. It's not a question. It's not a metaphor. It's not any of that. We're thinking of it like a solid fiction in our heads.
You know what the term non sequitur is? It literally means it does not follow. I'm not even trying to be a dick.
I got you.
You said A. Statement A, people are illiterate, and there's only a few people who are literate. Statement B, therefore they're hiding text from. That doesn't follow to me. I don't understand.
No, they use those texts to dominate and rule over people. Like it's a certain type of technology. So why did they preserve those specific type of texts and they got rid of everything else or blocked it off? Because that does seem to be what happened.
Because they're Christians.
Right. So why would you, as a ruling class, pass that down to future generations if it's just a metaphor?
They don't think it's just a metaphor. They think this was history. This is what they thought.
You think it's as literal history? When did that start? This is what Witch Doctor was talking about when they threw the drugs out and they changed the way you define the ancient Greek words.
From 500 AD to 1500 AD, for that whole 1,000-year period, most peasants thought that this was literal history that everyone knew was true. That no one doubted. Like most people were like, "This is actually happening."
Plato's cave.
Yeah. So then it's not a metaphor to them. This is real.
But when that language that they're talking about, when it was used before them, that's not at all how the language worked and what it created, right? When you use the word logos, you said it at the beginning, which is like a modern sense of it, right? Some kind of like recollection, some kind of objective maybe or semi-objective like account of something. When they were using that word logos, it was a variety of things, but especially around Aristotle and before, you're talking about a bridge between reality and understanding. That bridge, not the words I just said, but that bridge that's happening. The pathos is what happens to you. The logos is how it becomes more understandable, so you can then navigate forward with your life. So your logos or your reason or your reckoning is how you navigate. It's not an objective reality or an objective account for things. Like doxa might be something that is more closer, I think, to opinion and stuff like that. So when they talk about the
I think you got
ultimate
that
logos,
backwards.
they're
I think you got
talking
that
about a
backwards.
hidden structure of
You got that
reality that we
backwards.
can't see.
Doxa would be something that's not objectively true. It's an opinion.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. And that's how we're all we're using logos in place of that.
Logos
We're
is
in
like
Plato's
truth.
cave.
People thought of
No.
logos as the truth.
No,
Yes, it is.
logos is how you navigate. I just explained it. It's
Oh,
like
where are
it's
you
a thing
getting
in
that from?
motion.
Where are you getting that from? That's how
How
you
the
navigate.
how look up how the language actually works.
I've-
How
I've
the,
heard, like,
the
20 different-
participles like transform the words too. Everything's in motion, right? So it's how your logos is how you navigate, right? So if I were to like install like
Where-
logos is this absolute truth.
How do
I'm
you
up
know
in
that
here.
logos is how you navigate? When I mean, you can go to all these sources where it's used for the word or the word speech. It's very basic. My speech.
Well,
my
you
logo.
could look up even like Athens level what they meant by
So when
like
somebody
the word.
says, when somebody says "tu logu," of my speech, they mean of how I navigate.
Wait, of my speech, that's how they're using logos?
"Tu logu" is the genitive for say of my speech.
Okay, well then I imagine that would be how you speak, right? Because words aren't reality. None of this is like reality, right? So when they're describing all of these things,
What
like
is it? Reality.
logos is not like when you say no, I don't mean that in a relativistic
Aristotle's
way.
not really writing
I
down
mean-
reality. Aristotle's
I
just
mean-
writing down fake stuff.
He's writing a communication down to us to kind of like try to give some kind of account so we can understand it better and then use that to then navigate forward, not as an actual account of literal history. And like that kind of navigation and how our language works, that came after the Dark Ages, where we are using these static nouns and all of this as if they are like truths we can hold on to, right? As opposed to like
Sorry.
using the words properly. I have the slide thing. We
Okay.
can, I don't want to like interrupt
Let's get
anything.
into the
so.
text right here. Let's get into the text
Yeah,
right here.
yeah,
So I remember seeing this before. Someone showed me this before. Someone else argued that this was helping. I don't know if it was you, Tiger Shark, or someone else brought this to my attention before and said, this is what Ammon'S talking about. So I'm
Well,
surprised.
so it requires a participant to be clothed in linen cloth and
Okay.
sindoni to be pure, And
So
this
put
matches
on a
exactly
pure
what
linen
we
for. Do this with the mystagogue. But as for you, crown yourself with dark ivy while the sun is at mid-heaven. At the fourth, while looking up, lay down naked on the linen in order to your eyes to be completely covered with the black hand. Wrap yourself like this is the one that I flipped to, dude. This is the one that I flipped to. I just flipped to this by accident. And you dude, but you could have said, oh, that's shit. That's the one I'm looking for. How did you not notice it? I'm not kidding. I literally opened this up before you even told me where to go. I literally I took my mouse and I dragged this down and anyone can go rewind and watch it. I literally just flipped to it. And then you brought me back here again. Oh, that's funny. But wrap yourself like a corpse, close your eye, and keeping your direction toward the sun, begin these words, prayer. Now, Jesus is praying in that. That's why I wanted to go back. Jesus is praying in that passage. So you have a point. You just scored 1 point with me right there.
Okay, so here's another point. So
I want to see real connections here, not just reading into it.
We have the white, but the other one is we have the white linen sindon, correct?
We have the white linen. We have pure linen. Pure linen, yeah.
And the action in 1452.
I guess pure could be white linen. Okay.
In 1452, he's leaving the cloth, and then in 16:5, Mark 16:5, he's inhibiting the tomb. He's in the tomb, right? And in this liturgy, it's really long. I'm not going to probably be able to parse it out in the text right in front of me, but they have a section that's leaving the body to ascend to the gods in this same ritual. And
where here?
In here,
let's take a. I want to see this, dude. This is important. I want to see this stuff.
Okay.
No offense. I want to see it, and I want my audience to see it. My audience wants to see it too.
Yeah. Both. Okay. So I'll work on that one, but the one that you can look up now, since you have it in front of you, is in Mark 16:8, the one we didn't read. He's in a state of tromoskai ecstasis, trembling in ecstasy, as described in Mark 16:8. And that same state is
trembling in astonishment. He had gripped them, and they said, "This is talking about the disciples." Peter.
Yeah.
The angel tells Peter, go to Galilee. And then they fled out from the tomb, trembling in astonishment. You know what I mean?
Yep. And that
Is the word ecstasis. Yeah, ecstasis.
That same state is also in that PGM Mithras liturgy. I'd have to go to the
ecstasis?
correct line to get it. And there's also more in Mark that we're actually just glazing over, to be honest with you. That's more ritual in nature. Where in Mark 7:33, there's a saliva ritual. That's the same in PGM in the same
Mark
book.
7?
Mark 7:33. It describes using spittle as a physical conduit.
Oh, that's all over the place. Yeah, that's all over the ancient world. Yeah.
Right. And it's also in the PGM.
That's in Tacitus. That's all over the place. Yeah. That's Asclepius. That's Asclepius. That's where. So that verse right there from Mark 14 is not just Asclepius, but Serapis too. The healer gods. They're known for spitting and putting it on the eyes and some weird ritual. So that is a common. Yeah.
Now let's move to if you want to pull PGM back up and type in semen and go to whatever one you find, be my guest.
Well, okay. So far, we just have a kid. Or where's the kid actually? Where's the kid here?
The kid in the PGM?
Yeah, right here it just says pure linen. You talking about the mystagogue, like some sort of do this with the mystagogue. That's basically like that's kind of like a young initiate, right?
It's a virgin, so they're taking semen from a virgin. You just type
leader of the. Oh no, the mystagogue is the leader of the initiates.
Yeah, he's the.
Yeah. So it's not a virgin.
He's the magician.
Yeah.
The Magi, a suspicious person, by the way.
Yeah, but I'm saying, where's the 10-year-old kid? You said.
I'm finding it. Give me a second.
Well, hold on. I already have an issue with this. These are not one. This is not one person didn't write down and write this as a book. You know, this is a collection of random papyrus found all over Egypt, right?
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
So this is like you can't take this and then like say it's the same thing as something from all the way down here. They're probably not even written in the same century.
No, the Mithras liturgy. I just told you the number is like from 170 to like 829. We're not going to read all that.
Yeah, so you're talking about these are all from the same one.
That's one all ritual.
So you're saying these are all from the same source.
That one in particular, yes. There's other ones that you want to get into semen, virgin, 10-year-old stuff. There's different rituals that have them in the PGM. In that same book, 8893, the semen of the virgin ritual.
Okay. Before we move on to that, though, I'm still a little confused. Here's one right here where it says, wrap a naked boy in linen from head to toe. This is one of the ones you were talking about?
It's one of them, man.
And clap your hands, making your ring. So I've seen this before. People talk about this all the time. I don't know why you would think, like, okay, if I wrote a story.
Want some dinner?
What was that?
My bad. Feed my dog.
Oh, you're good. If I wrote a story and there's a character wearing a cowboy hat, riding a horse, does that mean that I'm literally copying the 1950s Western and I'm like directly connected to them?
No, but this is going to get back into my bigger picture. There are rituals involving a Neaniskos as you described them, let's say 15 to 30 if you want. Those rituals have nothing to do with this shit. And that's why Ammon can actually make that connection, because it's always a 10-year-old fucking kid, a virgin boy. That's why he's making that connection. You would have to take the position of, well, it's a Neaniskos. And I would say, okay, show me the rituals in all of Egypt and Greece that they're doing with 15 to 20. And there are rituals that they're using with them, but none of them are with linen cloths in this context. None of them.
The word for linen cloth is going to be the same every single time. So that's why I brought up the cowboy hat thing. Like the guy wearing a cowboy hat.
You're asking me questions. Now I'm asking you questions. Go find another ritual that describes a 15 to 30-year-old in the same position, because you won't find it. This is why we can draw the conclusion.
Liturgy right here, though, right? What we're reading right now.
You can look in any source that you want.
Hold on. You said this is all from the Mithras liturgy, but isn't this something else right here?
The one that you just read, the semen of a virgin.
This one, the linen, put on the linen, pure linen on the floor.
Yeah. That's a different one. Yeah, that's a different one. That's in the same book. It's in the same book, but yeah.
Okay, they're all. So you're saying they're all in PGM 4?
No, there's one in PGM 7. You want to go to PGM 7?
That's what I mean. We're just jumping around from text to century, and they're not like these texts have nothing to do with. I don't know. All right, what's the next?
But you're not understanding. I'm telling you that these rituals, like you're correct that they're different time periods and different rituals. Yes.
I haven't even seen a ritual yet. I just saw pure linen garment on the floor with a mystagogue. As for you, crown yourself with dark RV. Like I don't know what this has to do with Mark at all. Because he has a linen garment on, that's it. You don't understand how.
Well, from 170 to 829. Do you want to read all of those lines? We can. It's the whole thing.
Show me what you mean. I don't know what am I looking for? Like what's this have to do with?
Most of this is prayers and other shit. Go ahead and read it if you want.
So just having a linen garment on and a prayer, that's it?
No, dude. I just told you. You wanted points, and I was just telling you. Then you said, go find it. And I'm like, dude, the whole section, the whole rituals from 170 to 829. Are you going to read all of that?
What?
I could just give you the basic parallels between the two.
Yeah, give me one at a time. We can find them in the text. What's the second one? So we got a linen, we got a prayer.
Yeah.
All right, what's the next one?
The state of ecstasy, as we were talking about, the trance, leaving the body to ascend to the gods, just like leaving the cloth in Mark 14:52, 16:5. These are the parallels that these scholars are drawing. This isn't something I'm coming up with.
Which scholar is this?
This is Robin Scroggs, Kent Groff, Hans Dieter Betz, the guy that actually translated the PGM.
And they're comparing this to Mark 14?
Absolutely, yeah. They wrote books on this shit.
Wait, which book?
So he's providing a full commentary on the PGM highlights Mithras. He's calling it the Mithras Liturgy. That's his book. Robin Scroggs and Kent Groff wrote Baptism in Mark, Dying and Rising with the Adult, analyzed the Neaniskos as a ritual initiation. Morton Smith, as you mentioned before, which is a professor at
University I know what he says about this.
Columbia. So they've all written about this. This isn't like something Ammon created.
No. I disagree with that. Morton Smith's is way different than Ammon'S. Morton Smith.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I agree with that. I'm not saying Ammon is right, and I agree with everything Ammon's saying.
Because everyone you just named is all agreeing what a Neaniskos is. First of all, they all agree on what a Sindon is. Second of all,
no, that's absolutely false.
Show me. Don't just list off a name. And that's
the Secret Gospel of Mark. Morton Smith.
He's
saying that the Neaniskos term, which is what I asked you before, is actually being applied wrong. He's saying it's a 10-year-old kid because all of the other fucking
nobody agreed with him.
That do the same shit is a 10-year-old kid.
Nobody agreed with Morton Smith. He got laughed at.
Nobody except for Robin Scroggs, Kent Groff, and Betz.
What do they say? What they say? Tell me what they say.
They're saying the same shit.
Where? Show me.
It's a 10-year-old.
I want to see it, dude. You can't just say that. Let me see it. Show me.
Okay. I just told you the books and papers they wrote.
You have how do you know this? Like, where did you read it, or do you have it in front of you?
I can pull it up. Yeah, I'm pulling it up. Give me a second. You guys can talk about whatever else, but I'll pull it up.
Oh no, mine's a little longer.
A couple comments up, then we can side comment on that if you want. There's a lot of people going off in the comments. So.
Someone said Morton Smith was kind of a nut. Yeah, he was a little bit nuts. He has his Jesus the Magician is a freaking masterpiece though. But his Mark 14 stuff, he got literally clowned on over that stuff. And then at an actual SBL conference, he tried to present something about what was it? Something the thing you mentioned, he tried to people were accusing him of forging the secret mark. I don't know if that's true. The thing is,
they still say that. Yeah, they say
it's kind of sketchy though.
Do you notice that there's a couple of tactics that are used where it's well, I don't care what any scholar says because a scholar could say anything, except when a scholar might say something that you can point out and be see, he's wrong. right? So we
No,
get into like
no.
a relativistic a tail chasing game. But
No,
the
no.
language thing I can show you will just destroy all.
No. I don't care what one individual scholar might say. What I want to know is how is it being received by all the people who study this stuff for 20, 30 years? Is there some reason why they all doubt it? Are they?
But
is
your
there-
position, let me just say what your position is, and then you can tell me if I'm wrong.
Hold on.
Your position is you don't even know if there's a ritual happening in Mark in the first place. That's your position.
That's true. That's true too.
Yeah.
I don't really know. It's a real. But hold on. Chase brought up a really fair point. Why trust scholars if I don't trust scholars? Like, fair point. If there's a scholar who puts together something and they writes a book or whatever, and even if it gets a little bit of reception, positive reception, I'm all ears. But like, if someone comes along and says something that's completely the opposite of what everyone else is saying, everyone thinks it's bullshit, and then I look at it myself and go, well, let me give it a shot, and it sounds crazy to me too, then I'm just like, what the fuck? Why should I trust this guy just because it's a PhD? People with PhD said all the time. Now
that's why I had the language breakdown. Yeah.
No, and I can show you multiple examples of scholars who write stuff, they get a bad reception, but it still made sense to me, and I give it a fair shake. And then I notice other people also are like, yeah, that does make sense. So it might be a minority view, but it's somewhat like you can see it has some meat and bones behind it.
You know who Jonathan Smith is?
Yes, Jonathan Z. Smith.
He also agrees with this.
Really?
Absolutely.
Wow.
So you want to say it doesn't? It's not a thing, bro. He's saying it is.
Well, let's show me a quote. You just keep saying this guy believes in this.
Jonathan a Titan in religious studies often compared Markian themes to the Greco-Roman mystery religions, like those of Mithras, as we just talked about.
Everyone agrees with that. Hold on. Markian themes
focused on how ritual time works. He suggested that the 10-year-old or young adolescent was the perfect vessel for these stories because they are liminal. They are in the in-between stage. By using Neaniskos, Mark was signaling to his Hellenized Greek-thinking audience that Jesus' death was not just an execution, but a mystagogic mystery teaching event. That's from Jonathan Smith.
What 10-year-old is he talking about?
Because in every single ritual that
where I haven't seen a 10-year-old yet. I haven't seen a 10-year-old yet. You haven't shown me one 10-year-old yet. You keep saying every single ritual. I haven't seen one yet.
So what do you consider a virgin?
Anyone who hasn't had sex yet.
Those who haven't calved yet.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So
calved, not sex.
Wait, hold on. You just read a quote from Jonathan Z. Smith about a 10-year-old. What was he what was he referring to?
He was referring to Mark 14 and Mark.
But there's no 10-year-old in Mark 14.
He's referring to the Neaniskos as a 10-year-old because
where is he getting 10 from?
Because the Greco-Roman rituals are using a 10-year-old virgin boy, like I had said.
Where?
We started this off today with you said, well, everybody knows there's 10-year-olds in doing this.
No. I'm not denying that there's, but you said 10 is a very specific number. I'm assuming there's something about a 10-year-old.
Okay, so let me go back to slide 1 then, because you don't understand what I'm talking about. So in Pausanias,
right.
sacrificial child, Pausanias, 2nd century, right, is a gold mine for this.
Pausanias?
Pausanias.
What does he say? I have him right here.
Artemis. He describes a ritual where Patre was most beautiful boy and girl were sacrificed to Artemis every year until their practice was stopped. These children were consequently described as being in that 10-year-old age range. Okay, so that's one source. Then we have the Coes,
is this what
Anesthesia Festival? We're talking about 10-year-olds entering into adulthood. The Greeks also had a major ritual for the 3-year-old and the 10-year-old mark during the festival of Anesthesia. The text, various inscription and vase paintings, the Coes vase, depict children at these specific milestones. So, dude, I mean, you want me to read 20 slides to you?
No.
It's a lot of shit.
What I just heard there is what we already agreed on from the beginning, that there are young children.
Why are you asking where the 10-year-olds come from?
Well, you quoted Jonathan Z. Smith saying the 10-year-old as if he's talking about something very specific. I don't know what I'm trying to see. What does he mean by 10-year-old?
They're saying that the Neaniskos in Mark.
If you had said children and just in general, I would be like, oh yeah, obviously Strabo, obviously fucking this. But what the hell is that 10? Where did that number 10 come from? I'm very confused about that. Why 10?
I've said it probably about 10 times already.
What?
Well, just a young person that's prepubescent would make complete sense. I mean, it's
But
not
why did
only
Jonathan D. Smith say 10-year-old? Where did he get that number from?
Because they're in the ritual context of the linen cloth.
The rituals don't
and a
say 10
virgin
years
boy.
old, though. They just say children.
Prepubescent. Okay, let me find prepubescent.
Is 9 okay? Is 8 okay? Is 11 okay?
Can you
Is
show me
12
that
okay?
quote?
10 is actually
No. I'm not denying that there's children involved in rituals. We already talked about that. You guys are. I don't think you guys are understanding me. You quoted Jonathan Z. Smith saying the 10-year-old is the perfect example of what Jesus is doing. What the hell is he talking about? What sources? I mean, I want to know what he's talking about now.
He's
You can
literally
use passage
talking
right
about
with a
these
child.
rituals and rites that I'm talking about right now.
Yeah, you can just use the word child. Passage right with a child.
All right, let's look at this.
Someone who's not quite formed adult. It's the same reason.
Hold on, you cited
Native
Pausanias.
American.
Which quote from Pausanias is it? What's the number? What's the verse?
Let me find it. I have a bunch in front of me.
Just read it.
I'm just going to do a fun story real quick.
The sacrificial child.
What is it?
Okay, never mind.
The sacrificial child.
Just
Here,
sacrificial child?
Nope. Here, no, I'll get it to you. Hang on. Go ahead, Chase.
Okay, fun story. So there's certain tribes that would capture settlers. This is just recent history. And when they were at certain ages, liminal ages, they would decide whether they were going to integrate them into their tribes or not. If you were too young or too old, you're going to get iced, right? You're going to get left behind. And if it's a vicious tribe, you're probably going to be left behind as a road sign, right? They might do something pretty atrocious to you to let you know, don't come in our area and again, or something like that. I'm sure I'm butchering some of that, and I apologize to any experts who are in the chat right now. However, like that liminal age is extraordinarily important. It allows me to integrate you into my tribe, especially in the egalitarian tribe. And it's why a lot of settlers fought their way to try to get back after like Europeans recaptured them, right? They had found some kind of place in the tribe, especially the women. They had more rights. Or what they what we would call as rights, right? But they knew that inherently, that there is a big thing with engineering or integration or coming of age or building of anything, and it goes back with all the tribes still around today, that the youth is really important, right? Hitler Youth was really important. Anyway, so like the idea though that they wouldn't, that there's some kind of strangeness to like a youth being used at a liminal age to be transformed in some kind of way for a particular cult or for a particular way of thinking for a specific group, it doesn't seem strange to me. It is spooky.
No, I don't.
It's right,
I'm not
right in
denying.
front of our faces, but
So
the plot points are right in the book, and they're right in the Bible. So
this is what's going on here. This is going to be confusing for anyone watching this. I already can tell people are probably going to be very confused, and it's frustrating me right now because I'm already saying, and this is every classicist in the world will agree with me. We know that little kids have roles in the rituals because the community gets together for these festivals and these feasts, and they do rituals, and everyone knows that the children do this, the older guys do this, the 12-year-olds do this, the elders do this. They all have a part to play in the rituals. It's like a reenactment of something related to mythology somehow, right? No one's denying that there's children. You're shaking your head no.
yeah, it's not a reenactment, man.
What do you mean? What else is it then?
They're putting him through a rite.
Ritual.
It's
what
like
I'm
sticking your
talking
hand. It's like sticking your hand in an anthill or something on drugs.
That's what reenactment is. It's a ritual. That's what you go to mass.
This
When you
is
go to
not
mass,
theatrical, though.
reenact the
That's
you reenact
catharsis.
the Eucharist.
Hang on, guys. So
Yeah,
you
not
asked the
the
question.
Hold on, this is getting fucking frustrating. I'm trying to explain. Like, we all know that kids are involved in rituals. You keep
Yes.
going. Look, here's a source where a kid's involved in ritual. Therefore, Mark 14 is the same thing. It doesn't make any sense. It's a
don't
non.
take it from me. You want
That's a fair
Jonathan C.
statement.
Smith's analysis. He says it in his essay, "The Bare Facts of Ritual." This is ritual.
Jonathan C.
You're
Smith?
frustrating me because you don't know ritual, my guy.
But read that quote from Jonathan C. Smith again.
Read the quote, or
Yes. Pull it up if you can, because this is getting kind of weird now. I think you guys are just looking for things and going, oh, there's a kid here. Oh, there's linen here. Oh, there's purple over here. And then like you're presupposing Ammon'S view. Pretend Ammon doesn't even exist.
What do you mean, you guys? I'm telling you, Jonathan, in the Bare Facts of Ritual. If you want
Listen
to
to
go
what he
ahead and
says.
pull that
Listen
up,
to what he
pull
says.
it up.
Read the quote again. He's talking about Mark in general. He doesn't even say Mark. He does mention Neaniskos, but that's what I'm trying to figure out. Why does he think it's 10? I'm trying to figure that out.
I'm telling you, dude, you're not paying attention. You're not listening.
I am listening.
You're getting
From what I've
frustrated
gathered.
because you don't want to.
I thought you had these sources ready to go. We're still looking for them. I said that like 3 o'clock today. I was like, please have these sources ready. We're looking for them still.
Dude, you're not giving me. I'm asking you questions, and you don't have shit for me. I'm asking you to find where the ritual is for the 15 to 30-year-old Neaniskos that you're proclaiming. Where is it?
A ritual?
Exactly. Yes.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Why would I need to have a ritual for that?
So what the fuck is happening in Mark 14 and Mark 16:5?
I don't know. A lot of scholars have a lot of different.
Why do you have a channel talking about it then?
Because
You don't know what's going on. Why are you even discussing it?
Because the claims are nonsense. That there's a young boy being extracted the drug. That's the one Ammon says. But you're saying it's related to all this little boy
I'm
stuff.
not even talking about Nobody's
I know.
talking about him.
No one's talking about
I
Ammon.
want it to make sense. I want it to make sense.
I haven't brought him up once.
What kind of fucking question was that? Why do I talk about it? I'm trying to make sense of this stuff. I'm investigating it.
I was low blow.
you already
I
have
have
sorry
to
about that.
have a dogmatic stance on it for talk about it. You think I have to have a dogmatic stance to talk about something? The fuck are you talking about?
You kind of do already, dude. You're like, I don't know what's going on.
I
but
don't know what's going on.
I know
And I'm
No, his channel's fine.
Look, dude, you're making all these claims about what's going on in Mark 14. None of it really makes sense to me. I'm trying to understand where you're coming from. I'm trying to ask you for your sources. You point me to the PGM. There's a source that literally mentions put on linen cloth. And I'm supposed to think that has something to do with Mark 14 because it has linen cloth in there?
Dude, it's not just linen cloth. It's line 170 to 829.
And that, but you didn't. You say we could read the whole thing. What does the whole thing even say?
I just summed it up for you, but you said, "Well, go there, and then go there, and then show
didn't
me
give
this,
me
and then
anything.
show me that." I don't understand. I'm frustrated.
Can I do my language thing?
It doesn't make sense, dude. It doesn't make any sense at all.
You just asked me like 50 questions. I've answered them. I asked you one question, and it took you like 20 minutes to say, "No, I don't know what's going on."
Well, that's what I've always been saying. I don't know what's going on in Mark 14. It's a fucking strange passage. But
Right.
you're
And
saying,
I'm telling
here,
you, you asked me about Jonathan, so I told you about John. I just gave you the paper that he wrote, and now
Where?
you're asking me to go back and quote him again.
where's the paper?
I just told you.
I know. Can we look at that stuff? You said you have scholars that talk about this stuff. They all agree with you, and I'm disagreeing with them. But I don't even know what they're saying yet. I haven't
I'll
seen
bypass all the damn scholars, guys. I'll bypass them all.
Okay, here.
You want to
I'll
try
bring
it?
up. In 1980, he wrote this. Let me.
Pull it up. Let me see it. I want to see it.
Yeah. Okay, let's see.
Yeah, I guess you're looking at it from the perspective of since we can't find any other examples of what Mark 14:51 would be with a younger man.
007 dropped $1.99.
A younger examples. And so I think that's why they're trying to just magnify some of the older examples that would have been where anybody writing this particular Mark 14:51, that's all they really have to go off of. And this is the only text where we see a somewhat ritual looking like experience. It's very shady. There's not a lot of details there, obviously. Bring up a new name, Neaniskos, not very common in the Bible. There's a Neanias earlier, but unless it was a different writer and it was a mistake, then the assumption is that they're alluding to somebody that hasn't even been mentioned this entire time. And because of that, there's some slight, not to use the English word in the way that we use it now, but there's a slight mystery there, just not even having all the details. And so I think that's what they're trying to get at, is that this stuff was rampant. You already know that. It's rampant everywhere. Sure, there's prepubescent, in the rituals and stuff. That's not what they're exactly saying here in Mark 14:51. But in my own words, might not describe it the best either. But this is a Romanized evolution where they're getting away from, which the society was trying to get away from that, or at least the clergy, the authority, the Romans, they were trying to get away from the doing those rites and stuff. So if you have this guy from Galilee who's doing all this Greek Eleusinian stuff, that's our assumption anyway, as we look at this now, since we don't believe the lifetime story of Jesus. We don't believe any of that. We don't believe even real. But when they were putting this together, I believe that I've even heard like Dr. Jennifer Bird with you talking about, I think, Mark 14:51 maybe being a way to appeal to the Greek.
They didn't speak how we spoke, though.
Greek men of that time, and then she goes into John, and then
Yeah. Those are two different things, though. Appealing to the Greek world, rituals happening, all this stuff. Like This is what I'm not understanding. We all agree that all this stuff exists all throughout the ancient world. There's castrations happening. There's kids being involved in rituals. What does that have to do with Mark 14 is what I'm trying to find out.
They're cultic texts. They're operative. I can show you in my slides.
That's what they're alluding to, is the assumption that, at least I'm saying, if from trying to understand.
Everyone has a theory about it's a comedy, it's a tragedy, it's
no, it's not any of that. That's all Plato's Cave bullshit.
Mandy says it's a midget. You know, like we get a lot of turnout for that scene. You know,
I feel like it's really rare that people just let evidence fall where it is. Everyone has to take it and fucking form it with
morph it.
Everyone wants to morph it into their own thing.
And I'm sure that's if you take Christians too.
Where's this quote? Where's this quote from Jonathan Z. Smith? You just read it. You still can't. Didn't you just read it to me?
It's a 9-page. You want me to share my screen? Or 9-page?
Yeah. Well, you just read. You just read something about a 10-year-old boy, and it was really confusing. I have no idea. I want to see it. I want to investigate it. I'm not just going to take your word for it. But I want. If you're right, you're right. Let's dig into it. I want to see what he says. This is one of the most influential religious scholars of all time, Jonathan Z. Smith. You know that, right?
Yeah. That's why I asked.
I'm also not a fan of him because he's the anti James Frazier nemesis. He thinks dying and rising gods don't even exist.
Right.
He's like he's like the leader of the mainstream scholars. That's what you're citing right now. The mainstream academic. He's not like some Ammon Hilling guy.
Right.
That's why it's so weird. That's why I'm so confused.
Okay.
People are arguing over whether it's like literally true.
Did you pull it up from AI or something? Like, I'm trying to find. Where is it?
No, I'm sure that was probably.
They hallucinate shit all the time, dude. That will lead you astray really quick.
Oh yeah, my picture here's AI.
No, I'm saying if you ask AI, give me a source about a little kid, it's going to give you one. It's going to be fake.
They will have.
It does that all the time.
Yeah, I'll ask for different sources, writing different things, and they don't even exist all the time.
Yeah,
it'll make it sound like how you asked, but it won't.
One time it was like Plutarch in this book says that Osiris had 12 disciples and was crucified. I was like, what? I immediately ran to my Plutarch, pulled it up, and I was like, and I typed back in, I can't find it. Is there a different source? And then literally the next thing was, I got to be real with you. I hallucinated that source. The AI said that.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So I'm like, fuck AI, dude.
Okay.
AI is cool for like maybe editing like some paragraphs and stuff. It'll grammar or something like that, APA citations,
Tiger Shark, no offense, but you just read this quote.
The book is in his work. Map is not territory. Have you read that? In the ritual. Yeah, so
I actually have it here.
This is the quote. The young man Neaniskos, who appeared at the moment of the rest, who flees naked, leaving his linen cloth behind.
Can you share your screen?
Yeah, I can share.
Yeah.
How do I share?
He calls mentioning the Mark II, the second Mark. How it was a resurrected young man, but the Romans didn't want to talk about another resurrection. So I heard a priest talking about that in the fucking Garden of Gethsemane too. He was on scene and he was like, it was a resurrected child, but the Romans didn't want to tell anybody about it.
The fact though that we're using the word resurrection as if it means some kind of narrative plot point, like we're talking about it, is the incorrect use of the word fucking resurrection. They did not speak like we think and speak right now, and we are in a false dialectic. It's either literally true or some kind of metaphorical knowledge that you can know in your head. When they're symbolic cultic texts, they're operations for the other people to engage in and create that experience or engineer that. And when they got away from the drugs and stuff, they started adding the extra Plato's Cave shit in there. I have the timeline of when this language shift happened. And like the way.
What do you mean language shift?
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I got all my slides, dog.
Anastasis means to rise. It literally means ana, up, stasis, rise up. It just means rise up. It's a very simple Greek word. It doesn't have any.
It goes from the early Middle Ages onto the modern era. Language becomes more of an abstraction. Knowledge becomes some kind of thing you think you can repeat and know in your head. Gnosis is a physical transformation of a person. It has nothing to do with a thought you have or anything like that. In the same way, logos isn't any kind of abstract or objective recollection of anything. It's how you move and how you reason and how you reckon. It's very sophisticated how they were speaking, and they had loaded terms, and all of these cultic tech words are freaking loaded, right? And they're operative, and they line up with all of the rituals that Tiger Shark is showing everywhere else. And the classicists start to see it, it's like hard to unsee it. right? But like everything else,
Do you know
theories,
Greek? Do you know Greek?
ideas. I know a little bit of ancient Greek. I have the whole slide breakdown. I mean, if you want
How
to
do you
walk
know
through
this?
it.
How do you know all this then? How do you know all these languages are all loaded terms? Where'd you get this information? Like, did you just think of it yourself? Or?
No, it's in my slides.
I got your slides on my share screen. If you want Gnostic, I have.
Where's the Jonathan Z. Smith's quote, dude? I thought we just read it. I thought we just read it about a 10-year-old kid. You said it. You read a quote that had a 10-year-old kid in it, and I just want to see the quote because that would have been if you really do if you have that, dude, you're going to convince me. You're going to convince me that there's something to this. I'm literally trying to help, like, work with you. That's why I'm being so kind of.
Got their.
You read it.
Yeah, dude, I read the quote. I'm getting the fucking book open. You want to see the book? I got the book.
Yeah, that was Chase's slides.
Well, where have you read it 5 minutes ago? Where did it just disappear?
It would smash everything. So
No, I'm looking at it. I was trying to share my screen. I'm trying to share my screen, but it's apparently not.
Okay. This is the one that has the 10-year-old kid in it.
This one is
You
the
just
one
read.
where he lays out the Neaniskos. Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
You guys want to go read this shit? I mean, go ahead. I mean, I'm not. It's fucking 9 pages.
Well, you just read a quote from him about 10 minutes ago about a 10-year-old kid being a
I just dropped the quote in the chat, dude. Read it.
What did you read 10 minutes ago that said that the Neaniskos was 10 years old? You literally just quoted Jonathan Z. Smith. Said the 10-year-old child is perfect to be the Neaniskos. You said something along the lines of the 10-year-old child is perfect for the ritual and mark and whatever. That's what you said.
Yes.
Where's that quote? This is convincing me, dude. I'm not like denying this. I'm trying to find out I'm trying to learn. I don't just pick your words for shit.
Right.
I want to see it with my own eyes.
All right. And I'm trying to get the easiest route for you because you're asking me you said pull the text, then do this. So I'm gonna get the one with the 10-year-old quote in it. Let me pull it up because I put it away because I had to get this other one. Sorry, I'm working off.
That's the one I was asking for.
One fucking thing here. Am I still sharing my screen or no?
No.
Okay. Hang on. Riffed on something else. So let me grab it. I have two
my issue here is I'm telling you guys why I'm getting frustrated. Because it seems like what's going on is people will go to stuff that everyone agrees on and go, oh, look at this text over here has a ritual involving some kids, and this one has a ritual involving some linen cloth, and this is a text where a knot puts purple on, and therefore we can put it all together. We could just stick it on for Mark 14. Mark 14 is definitely saying all this stuff.
We never said anything about purple. What do you?
I'm talking about people in general. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about this is the argument that I hear from people.
I see what you're saying.
And they're like throw this source at me, throw this source. But if I tell them, just presuppose you don't know any of that stuff. Pretend you don't even know anything about anything, and you just read Mark 14 fresh. Do you see any of that stuff? And people just don't know. I don't think people know how to do that. Like, they don't want to let evidence just fall where it sits. They always want to presuppose something before they read it. Now, does that mean that whoever wrote Mark could have been putting something cryptic in there that we in 2,000 years later might not be able to pick up? That's possible.
Yeah.
There's no way to get to it. That's why it's like, I don't know. This is tough. It's frustrating. I'm trying to be as objective about this as possible. That's why when you asked me, what do you think about Mark 14? I said, I don't know. And you said, well, you don't know anything then. Dude, I'm being cautious. I have a lot of thoughts about Mark 14, but I don't have any dogmatic opinion on it. So it's like, that doesn't mean I don't know anything. It just means I'm telling you my opinion on Mark 14 is I'm hands off right now. It doesn't make it. Something's going on. It doesn't make any sense in Mark 14. You know
yeah,
what I
but
mean?
you said earlier that you don't even think it's a ritual, right?
I don't know if it's a ritual.
Yeah.
I mean,
I want to look at my slides.
Praying is a ritual, so yeah, I guess it's some sort of ritual thing going on. He's praying. I don't know what the kid is doing. I don't know if the kid.
What would the point of them having a Greek ritual, writing to a Greek audience? Why would they do that?
Well, you're presupposing Greek ritual.
Let's presuppose it. That's fine.
But look at the language.
Okay, so you're saying there's a ritual in Mark, and they're trying to sort of do
to a Greek audience.
They're trying to do a dog whistle, if you will.
Yes.
They're trying to just syncretize Christianity to the Greek.
And I would say, what's the dog whistle? Like, what do we? I don't know.
Language.
What are
Let
the
me show you the language.
Do you know the language? No offense, but do you know
I
the
have
language?
my slides. I have my slides.
I don't know.
Some
slides.
of us that know the language aren't seeing it.
Are we? Can I run through it?
Show your slide.
Did you find that quote? I really want to see this Jonathan Z. Smith quote. You read it like
that'll
10
give him
minutes.
time to look for the quote.
Yeah, I'm getting it.
I just think it's weird that you read it already and it's gone already.
No, I have that quote, but I don't think that's going to be big enough for you. So Smith focused on how the ritual time works. He suggested that the 10-year-old or young adolescent, he doesn't say specifically 10, but he says young adolescent.
So why did you read 10 then? Why did you read to me 10 then?
Because in all the other ritual contexts.
Dude, wait, whoa, dude.
Does it matter if they're 10 or if they're a young adolescent? What is the difference?
No, look, I'm not trying to get combative here, but you read a quote to us and all my 800 people watching from Jonathan Z. Smith, and you changed what he said and added your own 10-year-olds in there.
But what's the difference between a 10-year-old and a young child? What's the difference?
Because you're being specific, and then once you get specific, I need to know what you mean by that.
Okay, so young child.
Yeah, but why did you say 10?
Adolescent?
Why did you say 10 when you were reading his quote?
Oh, well, I don't know. Who cares?
You try to
It's still an
wrap
operation.
the 10-year-old
Who cares?
context of the
Come on
Greek
here. You got to be honest about the information, dude.
The 10-year-old Greek ritual.
Young child,
is a thing.
same thing to me.
Oh, but you read Jonathan Z. Smith. You quoted him verbatim, and you said something along the lines of, and the 10-year-old child is the perfect candidate for what's going on in Mark 14. You said something along those lines.
The 10-year-old child that is in the Greek ritual, he's himself in his work is calling a young adolescent. And it was a perfect vessel for the stories because they are liminal in the transition.
But Tiger, why did you say 10 when you read it before?
Because this is what it says, dude. I'm reading it.
It says 10-year-old.
He's suggesting that the 10-year-old that's in the Greco-Roman rituals that I just
What
fucking
10-year-old?
told you.
What 10-year-old?
Do we have to go back to fucking?
You never showed me one 10-year-old yet. You never showed me one 10-year-old.
You don't listen.
What do you mean? What's wrong with me? You never showed me one 10-year-old yet.
Yeah, can you share the screen? We'll
Dude,
look at it.
Tiger, what the fuck are you talking about? Are you like, you never showed me a 10-year-old yet?
I showed you Aristophanes. You read it and you go, you realize
Aristophanes
that's
doesn't
a
say
girl,
anything
right?
about 10-year-old boys. It's talking about women, first of all.
A 10-year-old in a
And it's
ritual
talking about the
setting. Yeah,
Lysistrata. It's talking about the Lysistrata.
right.
So
right.
what? It doesn't mention 10-year-olds.
That was, dude. I have a bunch of them. We're going on one.
I was a
through-
grinder. Well-born girls served. So this is a specific. I already told you. We already know there's specific roles that.
What do you
girls
mean by
have-
the word mean? we're in a language battle, guys. This doesn't make any
I
sense.
know, but okay.
What do you mean? Like we're doing Jordan Peterson horse shit right now.
No, we're not. You quoted him, and you said the quote came out of his mouth about 10.
Young initiate, young child in an operation.
Do you know?
Period.
What do you know about the Corinthian atonement? What do you know about that?
The Corinthian atonement.
What do you know? You're trying to out ritual me, man. Come on, I'm here to teach you ritual. What do you know about that? And Medea. What do you know about Medea?
Not familiar with what you're supposed to talk about right now.
I know Corinthians 4:1 talks about
Of
being
course
stewards
you
of
know,
the
but, yeah.
mysteries.
What's your point?
So the kids literally that Medea Medea killed for her children within that myth, right? And in some of those interpretations, the 7 times 7 months old or started their service either at 7th or the 10th year. I mean, it's a cultic fucking number, and they started.
Yeah, Sparta was 7-year-olds.
What does that have to do with Mark, though?
Again, these are Greco-Roman rituals. So he's saying that because
Just
the kid
waste of
in
time.
the Sindone is there and back again in 16:5, that it mimics what we see in the PGM that I just told you about. And
A
these
Sindone
other
is a
Greco-Roman
Sindone is a shroud.
mysteries.
It's a
Yes,
shroud.
it's a shroud. It's a lint, whatever you want to call it, dude.
Yeah.
So, but if you take the position of, let's just go with you, like I said before, your position is that the Neaniskos is between 20 and 30, let's just call it. Show me the
15 to
ritual.
30. I don't know. It's not specific. It's a very vague term.
You're just doing air theory at this point, dude.
No,
You're
I'm not.
doing-
You-
yes, you are. You're doing air theory. That's exactly what
Air
you're doing.
theory? What's that?
You're saying everything is wrong. That's called air theory. It's in.
No, I'm
philosophy.
not. I'm
Yes,
saying let's
yes,
get
it is.
specific. Dude, you're just reading into the text. You're just pulling shit out of nowhere, reading into the text. And then you fake quoted
I'm not reading
Jonathan
into it.
Smith,
I'm
dude.
reading into it.
That's dude, that's
I
bad.
just
You
told
gave me
you
a fake
Jonathan
quote.
Z. Smith
You
is
gave
the
me a
one
fake
that.
quote, dude.
A fake
bad.
quote my ass.
You said quote Jonathan Z. Smith and the 10-year-old. Can we go back? Want to go back and watch it? If we could. I mean, anyone watching this,
the 10-year-old or prepubescent, or not prepubescent, but pre-adolescent.
But then you said he didn't
young
say
adolescent.
Yeah, fine, young adolescent, whatever.
He's literally
why would you say 10?
in his own writing that the Markian themes are comparable and similar to the Greco-Roman mystery religions.
No shit. Everyone agrees on that. Everyone agrees on that.
Mithras liturgy in the PGM.
Everyone agrees that what's going on in Mark is Greco-Roman because it's a Greco-Roman text.
Yes.
So you don't just say, oh, it's a Greco-Roman text. Every single text that I find that I like, I get to just apply it to Mark because I want to.
Do you want to see how the Greco-Romans actually use their words?
Sure, but I want to see Jonathan Z. Smith's quote right now because I want to see exactly what it says. I'd love to see it.
Dude, I dropped another one in the chat. It's in the chat. Do you not see that?
This is something about Smith.
Private chat?
Right.
This is something about Smith. You quote Smith focuses heavily on the Neaniskos, who appears in Mark 14. He suggests this figure represents the initiate in the Greco-Roman mystery rite. The young man, so this is not about a child here, appears at the moment of, I already told you guys this, that Jonathan, these people all agree what a Neaniskos is a young man. So where's the adolescent child here? It's not
dude. Stop.
The young man who appears at the moment of the rest, who flees naked in his linen cloth behind, who appears in the tomb, clothed in white robe, is not a historical character in the sense of usually intended. He is a ritual initiate. Mark is a text which has been ritualized. Where's the 10-year-old?
Keep going, dude. You're stopping.
That's the end of the quote.
No,
that's the end of the quote. Yes, it is. That's the end of the quote.
It is a mythic narrative that provides a script for a
Greco-Roman initiate. I read that. I just read that. There's nothing about 10-year-old children here.
It doesn't even have to be about 10-year-old children in this particular quote. All it is him tying it to the mysteries.
I'm just trying to clarify why you said 10-year-old. Whatever, fine. Let's ignore that from now. You just slipped up. So you're saying Mark 14.
No, I didn't slip.
Hold on a second. But you quoted Jonathan C. Smith. You said 10-year-old. It's not there. You didn't even 20 minutes. You couldn't find it.
Dude, I just read it to you. I'm looking at it right now. It's on my other computer. I have 2 computers.
What? A quote from Jonathan C. Smith?
Yes.
Let's see it.
Hey, if you're watching like a newscast and someone goes, a 10-year-old was kidnapped, and then we find out they weren't 10, do you go, God, that newscaster was wrong about everything?
No, but when you quote somebody and go, this scholar says, and you quote them, and that's not what they said. I can't. That's not good, dude. Especially when I'm reading it right now, and he's saying "young man" in the quote. The quote that I'm reading from him says "young man."
South African Rand super chat. Is a butterfly a flying piece of butter? That yields a level of comprehension. Not only does the dude need to be spoon-fed, he also needs to be told how to feel about it. Go learn Greek.
Yeah, this dude's an idiot because he doesn't know what the point. He doesn't actually know what I meant by this. This is how stupid they are. Let me ask you.
I want my sideshow.
Does anyone know what I meant by flying piece of butter?
And Jimmy, you were
because this guy doesn't know what it means.
Dropped $10 super chat. He didn't slip up.
He's straight up. See, my audience is saying you lied about this, dude. Just saying. Well, then where's the quote? Where's the quote?
What's a lie? A young kid or a 10-year-old? How is this a lie? Why are we arguing over this? It prevents anything from moving forward.
Bro, when you quote somebody, you quote them. You just read the quote. You don't add in your own 10. You don't throw in 10 years old.
Okay, so what are the implication of your position that everything and there is no ritual and there's none of this stuff going on and these aren't operative texts and anything like that? Is that the position you're taking? I'm
perfectly fine with what Jonathan Smith actually said. Let's read what he actually said. That the Markan, the Neanisko, the young man, he literally defines him correctly. The young man in Mark 14 represents the initiate. That's fine. That's totally fine. It makes perfect sense to me. There's nothing wrong with that quote.
It doesn't affect my position at all.
It's not changing anything from the text. It's not lying about the text. It's just
if
saying
7, 8, 10, 13. I don't care.
It's
the operations.
It doesn't have an age. Jonathan Z. Smith, let me fix my camera a second. Jonathan Z. Smith is saying the young man, literally quote, the young man, he doesn't say adolescent, he doesn't say 10-year-old, who appears at the moment of arrest in linen cloth is the initiate.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong.
The initiate to what?
Yeah.
What kind of transformational experience are they going through? What is this?
The initiate into the mysteries of Christ.
Oh, okay. And what are those operations?
Yeah.
I don't know what you mean by that. Hold on, let me fix my camera.
No signal.
And that happened to me last time, dude. My cat like scooted across my desk. I had this janky little. It's still kind of janky, but man, she just took the whole sucker down.
All right, so what I'm reading here, the actual Jonathan Z. Smith quote, I'm perfectly fine with. I have zero qualms with this one. That if somebody theorizes that what's going on in Mark 14 is a young man being ritually initiated into Christ somehow, that makes just as much sense as the other people who say they think Jesus was resurrecting somebody. To me, they're both equally fine, in my opinion. They're both trying to make a stab at it, what they're not doing.
Perfect. We're right there.
What they're not doing is they're not lying about the term Neaniskos. They're not lying about the term Sindon. They're letting the evidence fall where it sits. Very. That's
So,
all I care about.
What do you mean by resurrected?
It means to rise from the dead.
Right. Where did you get that? Was that how they were talking?
Yes.
So it didn't have anything to do with some kind of mystery rite ritual where they bring people back into a new identity and you're born again in the blood of the bull or something like that with Dionysus. Nothing similar there. They weren't. Do you see what I'm saying? The fictional idea that you have comes from way later tacked on definitions and use of the language.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, I will. Let's go to the slides.
Drop the 10-year.
I think Hesychius has.
Let's be cool and share info.
Here, I'll go to your slides. Go ahead. There's your slides.
Yay! Yay!
All right, I'll scroll.
Okay.
Down. You want me to?
Well, no, I can't.
Before you start, though, I just want to say, Tiger Shark, the real quote from Jonathan Z. Smith that I'm looking at right now is fine. I actually think it's a very decent theory. I don't know how to. We can't prove it. It sounds just as credible as the resurrection theory. That's my final. If you think that's fine. The young man got initiated into Christ. Totally fine.
Yeah,
Anyway.
here's another one for you. I'll drop it in the chat. Go ahead, Chase.
Jesus.
I definitely don't want to ramble on tangents on this one. I just kind of want to see if I can get the bigger picture. So here we got a few words that you would find in a lot of these operations, right? And I want you just to kind of try to. It's a really, and I'm not kidding about this. I think the only reason I glommed onto this is because of my working with visual film, the medium in general, right? So when you're creating a film, you're creating parts that are unrelated. If it plays in a forest, it doesn't make any sense. These things are shot at different times. There's sounds. They make no sense. They only make sense when they interact with a person, right? And those specific things in universal orders give us things like love and all the other stuff. I can go into a long diatribe about how Aeschylus made the dramatic structure off the initiation rites, but for right now, let's just look at how those words work, right? So the mysterion, that which is closed, a sacred rite, it's not a question, right? That which is closed is just something that is closed off to the person. That moment or that experience in life of being closed off to something, me not knowing something, that is like the mystery, as opposed to the mystery being a static noun or something like that, right? And you can look at the initiated one. You can look at a rite that brings into an act that brings it into completion. The symbol is one of my favorite ones, right? Because that's why movies are actually symbolic, but they're not symbolic in an abstract way where I get to just insert whatever I think they mean and feel, right? Because if they're working properly, if they're properly symbolic, it's going to evoke things universally in humans and stuff like that. So once we get more and more abstract, people can just start injecting meaning on top of anything. And then we're just kind of up in our head thinking about stuff. And if I can get you like that, I could pretty much convince you of anything, which is what happens with relativism, right? So there's the logoma one you were talking, logomena. So things are said. So it's the act of things being said, right? It's me right now. Whatever this thing is, this experience that you guys are hearing right now, that is what's happening. That is how my logoma works or whatever like that. It's not something I can hold on to and have some kind of absolute answer on or whatever else. So you're seeing actions that unfold. You're seeing what is spoken into understanding. You're carrying something into fulfillment, something set apart from the hit. You can see they're operative, right? These are operative. This is like an instruction manual type of words, right? You go down to slide 2. I'm sorry. I know I'm gonna get off on tangents.
No, you can sit on it. Me and Tiger were going at it for a minute, so you could take over for a little bit.
Yeah, and fair game for that, for quotes and stuff. So we got rituals that are engaging the whole being, right? So this is, we can use the Elysian Mysteries because we still have the facility that where it was at, right? But that affects all of your biology, right? Being in a room with a lot of people, being in a certain room that bounces sound a certain way, that lights light in a certain way, being like, all of that hits all our physiological buttons, right? So you have the preparation, right? So those are instructions. You have the procession, you're entering it, right? The threshold, the dramatic rites, the symbolic actions. Remember, symbolic is a specific set of instructions. Symbolic is not just, I'm going to put incense on an altar and then imagine there's a Athena is above me or something like that. It's more like whatever I'm entering into the god's force or space, that I've ingested a substance and I'm now accessing that realm or something like that. And those specific substances are symbolic of that specific god or something like that. And that's why, I don't know, everybody kind of has a similar experience with ayahuasca, not similar in their personal adventures, but we all know that they're going to go on a specific type of adventure, right? And sacred objects can be involved. Who knows? There's a ton of these, probably these different rites, different ways you could engineer it. And this could be anything from whipping people, or it could be anything from sticking your hand in a glove that's filled with bullet ants. You know, you don't know what it's going to be, right? So then there's the silence and the darkness that's going to happen right here. There's the revelation. There's the reintegration. So reemergence, transformation back into what you're doing. Well, so if you go to side 3, we have. So this is a transformation of identity, right? From the ordinary self to the initiated one, the one that now knows, that's experienced the symbolic relationship, the thing that the initiation, whatever that is, right? And it's not something that is unusual because it's exactly what our species does anyway. You are not the same as you were when you were 15. You went through a series of things and that identity is now dead. You'd say dead, you know, whatever else. Or if you've ever been in a situation where your reality's crumbled in some kind of way and your sense of reality navigating crackles in front of you, and you come through it on the other end, you rebuild yourself based on those experiences and you transform your identity a little bit. You might still be the same. Hopefully you still have some virtue or something, but depends. There's a lot of, you know, there's psychopathy and all the other fun stuff in there. So you have expansion of awareness, right? So you have new knowledge that's brought in, unity and meaning, purpose, inner authority. Now, inner authority is really important because it wasn't until the Abrahamic faith that they started creating outer authority, right? Outer authority meaning you are saved versus you are now empowered, right? It's a really, really, really big difference. It's cognitively priming you for specific type of behavior, namely sheep-like behavior. If you go to slide 4, right? So with all these rites, they have sacred language, right? And myths are encoded reality if you look at how they use the word myth, right? So they were speaking in these stories and stuff like that, but we think of them as like fictional characters and like dramatic, and there is drama in there. And there's that stuff that it's not like it's not there and it's not fun to interact with, but they were encoding a type of reality. That's why they were remembered. That's why they were guarded. That's why they're held at such a high regard, right? They're teaching God's guidance. There's philosophy, ethical living, community service, you know, yada, yada, yada. Depends. So we go down and we have a general idea. If we go down to slide 5, and I think I doubled it up on accident, you're looking at a general process of like kind of the rites and like kind of how the words and symbol hold the meaning of the potential. You interact with those instructions and you're engaging in the ritual. You create that experience is completing the symbol, and then your interpretation or whatever else is integrated back into your life. So you go through the symbolic or the mystery rite, and then you're whoever you are on the other end of that. And depending on where you're being directed, because it's really important on who's directing you. It's the same thing with a shaman or what they're learning with psilocybin, quiets the sense of self, opens the outside side of the like your senses and everything like that. And they're saying now, oh, it'd be good for you to have a therapist there. Yeah, no shit, science. Thanks for catching up, right? But that's also could be really bad because if you had somebody that was like abusing you mentally and they put you through a psilocybin experience, you might end up like a Charlie Manson gal. You know what I'm saying? So let's go down. Sorry, you have to skip one. I accidentally doubled it. And then so we don't have to go through all of these, but like this would make sense that this would be something integral to your society, right? That you would want to develop these rites of passage. One, you need certain rites of passage that make sure a man's a man, right? We aren't what we think or what we think will be in the moment. We are what we are under pressure. So you're going to want your youth to be going through something that pressures them to some kind of sense of like edge of reality like that, and they find out who they are. Know thyself, right? So when they get out there and they have to wrestle with a bear or fight some barbarians coming over the hill, they're going to know whether they have the courage to face death because maybe they don't fear death anymore. Sound familiar? So I mean, also Zen people had stuff like this. Why would you be afraid of death? You're not going to be there when it happens. They teach the samurai stuff like that, Zen samurai. So I think I doubled that again. Keep going. Man, this got doubled up like a mother. Those we can skip down to. It's all kind of like serious. So it's let's see. Eternal legacy. We are the continuation. This is all kind of goofy shit. Okay, just go to the last slide, actually, so I can like. I don't want to. I'm going to ramble at each section if I go through all that, and it's not fun. Here's the period that I'm talking. Oh God,
this is good so far. I actually really. This is like a lot. Of, really, I like seeing things that are like very figured out and right.
And this is not. This is the thing that I have when we're trying to stand on the shoulders of scholars and stuff, and it's not. I'm never in the game of diminishing. You know what you know when you know it. You're in the trending certain time period. Here's a pretty good, decent timeline from when the language started going. You can kind of see it down here from embodied to analytical, right? Some participatory, institutional, restricted, preserved, abstract, recovered. Now we're in like an analytical phase of how we treat information and language. But if we go back and we're in the Roman period, they're just coming out of the Hellenistic period, it's still very participatory. So the way that they're speaking and the way they're encoding their language and their myths and their symbols are operative, right? It would make sense that you would hide that language, preserve that language. In fact, it could be a type of technology and you might not want anybody getting it, because what happens when everybody starts walking around awakened and they're in the blood of the Dionysian bull, they might turn into mad people sometimes. Is that what happened to Nero? I don't know. But I'm just saying, like, there's this clear break with the language that totally changed, and that also seemed to change when they made it into Latin, which was more legal and liturgical, however you want to say it. And then the Romance languages came after that. Ancient Greek went bye-bye. And then we go back and we look at ancient Greek now, and the freaking Pythagoreans didn't even need to invent additional symbols into their language. They were speaking in formulas and in math. And in fact, it's likely what Isaac Newton and his Pythagorean cult were getting their additional symbols making for our language to use. That's likely where they were getting that inspiration and translating, and maybe likely why they found some of it just in a drawer of his. They didn't even think it was that important, because he was translating and he was making symbols that would function differently from how they spoke and how they thought, which was way out of our ballpark, and giving us tools now with our language to kind of remember or figure out what that was. And that seems to be what the Renaissance is. I also don't think it's over. I think we just thought it was because we got cool gadgets and stuff. But I don't know if that's making any sense. So when you look at that ancient Greek in that New Testament, or you look at that ancient Greek in some of those old mythic, how we view mythic, fake, like story, that they weren't mythic in that way. They were encoded reality. And we start looking at how they use those words, like the operations start coming out really, really, really clearly. And in addition, the archaeology matches up with this, and the vases matches up. In addition, it matches up to the physiology of just humans in general, like all the physiological buttons you could press on somebody to shatter their identity and bring them back. And also our nature, which is basically trauma machines. Just too much stuff kills you a little bit, you're going to bounce back a whole lot stronger. So my whole thing with all of this is like, when we argue whether they would literally happened or whether they were some kind of like parable or metaphor, that we are already lost. We are caught in the false dialectic. It's probably how culture wars are started. And we're up in our heads looking for some kind of like answer or knowledge or position to argue from, while not experiencing, living, and also like knowing the good and the bad that came before us. Because a lot of these cult rituals, and by no means am I condoning what the hell they were doing, or do we even have a full grasp of what they were doing, but they were operative texts. They weren't like literal accounts of things, and they weren't like fictional parables. And that kind of thinking got pressed onto it way later. And it also becomes a way to convince people that they're special or something like that too, right? I could Joseph Smith golden tablet any group of people and then tell them, like, make up like a history about something. And unless there's archaeological evidence or people value that to bring it up, you will go on and be primed in your life to believe that and act on it, right? That would make sense from a tyrannical class of why they cut off the education and all the other thing. Now, is it one person? I don't think so. I think this is over these are stretches of times, hundreds of years, families and stuff like that. But the fact that these are such important texts and everybody is so fascinated with them, and they rule the world still, they're still influencing everybody.
And on a sober point of view, you can still be born again. You can still go through that experience. I went through it. It's real. I might have been 14 years old, but you feel like you're a piece of shit and all this stuff's going on. The world's scary and oh my God, all these things are going on. And then you just give all that burden to Jesus. And then it fucking feels lighter and greater. You just really believe it, whatever, that is. It's a physiological change. And at the end of it, they don't say you were empowered. They say, I gave that to you. You were saved. He gave that to you. Now, give me all your things, sell all your belongings and follow me. And that seems to be like kind of the model of the modern church. So even when you're sober, the process of these patterns, and follow an evangelical church when they have the opening music, the highs and the lows, the types of enthusiasm that which enthusiasm would have been actually you're containing a sense of a God, like a power, a force, not an actual anthropomorphized being or something. But anyway, the charismatic leader that's up there speaking, how they can do that, and how they can put you into a rhythm and kind of hypnotize you, all the other stuff. And that'll get me on a whole nother tangent when I start going down that one, because that's exactly who the Magi were. And there's tons of records of them doing this shit. Not only that, there's records of them giving people drugs and then telling them and saving them, which drugs, in our opinion, our connotation is negative. In that context, it could have been medicine, just like ayahuasca is jungle medicine for people, right? And the Magi were giving it to people and saying Jesus gave that power to you. And Tiger Shark has that reference as well. But so I don't know if that's making any sense, but when I see all these words and I see all these arguments about all of this stuff, I'm looking for what is the purpose that they serve and how they seem to function and fit in with everything. When it matches up archaeology with their physiology, with like ruling structures, with and all that other stuff, and the fact that the language did not work at all, how we're speaking about it right now. And I don't know if that I've just totally sound like a lunatic or not, but I don't know if that makes any sense. So when you're looking at these texts and you're trying to look at them in a literal way, that you're always going to be chasing your tail and you're going to turn into Jordan Peterson. So.
Well, I have a few. I think it was a great presentation. I obviously don't agree with everything you said.
Yeah, that's right. That's good. Yeah.
I think when let's say the term operative, for example, I think when it comes to that, the author is trying to tell the reader what the operation is. It's not it's not necessarily a secret, although it could be, unless there's there's different layers or whatever. Unless the author wants it to be esoteric for certain people to read. But in the case of the gospel, the case of the Gospels, because even Orpheus even says this: I'm going to sing you my song for those for ears to hear, whatever. But the Gospels are trying to portray the Messiah in a way that he fulfills all the messianic verses, Isaiah, the suffering servant,
Plato's cave, yeah.
All the you're there. That's the operation, in my opinion. The operation is you're going to read this text and you're going to come away with, whoa, the guy from Isaiah, this is about Jesus. Oh, that quote from Zechariah, that's about Jesus. Oh, shoot.
Sure. That definitely looks like that was 100%. I think that's a part of it as well. Yeah, I mean, they would clearly do that to solidify an authoritative fiction they needed to rule, of course. Yeah. But they're still they could not, when they took when they're changing the definitions of words, when they're making Koine Greek, when they're doing other things, and I know that there's contention between some of that, but it's really clear that there's a pretty good streamline all the way back to the Bronze Age that seems to have been interrupted, and then they couldn't even control it after a certain point, so they went straight to Latin, and then they killed Latin. And Latin is even, I think, a little more dynamic than our language, depending. It just seems like that when they tried to take some of those substances out, and these are changes over time. We'll take this out, we'll take this apocryphal text out, we'll take this thing out. That is just, it's getting out of their control. They can't have people having any of this knowledge. In fact, they just need to install this suffering fiction type in their head and get them to stay where they're at. Because if they engage any of these rites or understand any of this knowledge, they might start doing stuff on their own. And they start doing stuff on their own, and they know themselves. They're going to know that we're just a bunch of fuck knuckles up here claiming to be the best of the best and have all the money and power. And that would, if I was a king, that's what I would do. So actually I wouldn't. I try to be nice, but I'm just saying it starts to make a lot more sense. And it just lines up with a lot of stuff and why there would be so many text changes, why the things would be, but they couldn't get rid of the symbols, and the actual symbols that I was talking about, they're there. Right. And that's why everyone's still seeing, if those were abstract or those are just made up, no one would be reading drugs or any of these other correlations into them at all. It'd have to be a statistical impossibility that they would just coincidentally all of a sudden line up with all of the other mystery rites, all of the other things that are going on, and the language at the same time if they just invented strictly like Joseph Smith's golden tablets, which is what I think Joseph Smith basically did. He just did a like really, really late plastered on interpretation of it, if that makes any sense. So
Yeah. By the way, while I was listening, I just wanted to do a quick search for, because I wanted to see if the Neaniskos is actually in the Greek magical papyri, and I did a word search and it doesn't actually exist. He uses the term Neanias or PAIDIon.
Yeah,
So
that's my whole point. If and I'm not saying you, but let's say somebody says it's a Neaniskos, which is 15 to 30, whatever you want to say it. Where in these rituals are they? Then you're just saying that there is no ritual in Mark 14, and that these scholars that are saying there is a ritual in Mark 14, then they're just disagreeing with them, I guess.
And back in
it's not that I don't just because a scholar says something doesn't mean I'm gonna have to. I disagree with so many. I disagree with scholars on everything, basically.
Comparable ritual in text.
I literally want it to make sense to me, like.
But there's a source for it. So if somebody sees a source like Ammon, I'm not saying he's using these, but somebody could just say, look, I'm using this as the source, and I could write a book and quote this guy and quote this ritual that has these prepubescent kids in it, and you can write a story, right? So maybe you disagree with all of them, but that's what's happening.
Why would you apply a prepubescent, let's say you found a ritual of a prepubescent boy. Why would you then go, Mark 14 is doing this?
Again, because the linen cloth is specific to that particular ritual, and then
the linen cloth is specific to every ritual. Specific to everyone's wearing. Sindon is just a word for linen cloth.
Yeah, but so the earlier example that you started off with the pus, like that was a good example of how that doesn't apply to most of this shit, right? I'm not using some weird fringe fucking pus quote from Galen.
But hold on, you're missing the point. If Mark 14 never uses the term prepubescent child or PAIDIon or anything like that, why would you assume the word Neaniskos is a prepubescent child? You're literally saying yellow is blue. You're literally just changing the definition. You're changing words.
So the Greco-Roman rituals that you agreed to earlier, where there were kids in them, right?
Yes.
Prepubescent kids that were agreed into these things.
And they're not being drugs extracted from them. They're not being like R-worded or anything like that.
I agree with that 100%. And actually all of this stuff that I find says that they're actually upholding their virginity, that they're not actually doing all that other stuff.
Yes. These are rituals that the whole community get involved in.
Yeah. But I just want
to finish this point real quick. It's like the term, so it has it's saying, it's telling us there was a young man, he fled naked. It's like, okay.
And then he reappears.
And then like Jonathan Z. Smith, he cracked his theory. He says, I think there's some sort of initiation going on here. Sure. That could be true. Another person says, I think he resurrected him. Notice how none of them are changing anything. They're not changing the term death. He didn't say 10-year-old. He didn't say prepubescent. Nobody's changing anything. They're just they're just making a theory based on the data.
Well, so I put another one in there. Judith Gundry is another one that says she thinks it's a prepubescent child. Peter Ben Smith.
Where? What's the quote? What's the quote? Hold on. You can't just say that. You got to show us a quote.
Okay. I mean, the boy servant is.
What's the quote? You just listed some name. What's the quote?
Let me get you quotes, man.
Well, I mean, you can't just come on here and just say this person agrees with me. It's a prepubescent child. That's weasel.
I'm not even. You're attacking me like I'm the person.
No, but I want to be convinced by this. This is why I'm so serious right now. I want this to like. I want to know why they think this. Where they got the idea that, because it's literally like saying a fat man is actually a skinny man, or if I said a girl with long hair actually is bald. Like you're literally changing what the word means, and I want to know why. I want to know why they think it's prepubescent when there's not a single source that ever says that.
Okay. Yeah.
Would it maybe be fair to say that? And I'm just looking at stuff real quick. I use in Witch Doctor Christianity. I put a picture of David being anointed, and there's a bunch. I'm not saying that they're accurate. There's a bunch of renditions of David being prepubescent. So if this is a sequel in a way to the old I mean, I'm looking at some pictures right now and stuff.
Everyone's prepubescent at some point in their life. Does that
when they're
mean
getting anointed with the horn of oil and
he's young? Yeah, I don't know. I think he's older than that. I think he's older than that.
I would argue that too. Sometimes there's a lot of
artwork
artwork where the artists are rendering David, below what looks like 12. Lower.
Yeah, but what is so what?
It doesn't mean anything. It's an artist rendition. There's a bunch of artist renditions that bring up a lot of questionable stuff.
Yeah, but I don't understand.
That might mean that someone else thought the same thing.
Why does everyone want Neaniskos to be a prepubescent child?
The youth are highly malleable, dude. They're identity forming, they're loyalty forming, they're high risking. If you're going to build an army or if you're going to cause a problem, which there's lots of examples of Rome and other civilizations before going and breaking up people that are doing Pied Piper shit with excess males that don't have any way to contribute. If you're going to get someone to become a true believer and all that other stuff, you need to catch them right at their identity formation, right? So, I mean, there's that.
What does that have to do with Mark 14, though? We're already getting off track.
Okay, this is the quote from her. I'll read it. I just put it in the chat. The term Neaniskos can refer to a range of ages, but in the placement here, the context, alongside the motif of childlike following, suggests a figure that has not yet reached the status of a man, Anner. In the social world of the Mediterranean, this often points toward the prepubescent or early adolescent stage where the child is still under the direct protection or sphere of the household.
Who's this? Judith Gundry, theologian?
Mm-hmm.
Yale Divinity School?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know why she would think that. Like literally, she's just another one that's making it makes no sense. Why would you
everybody that you disagree with is just making shit up?
No. Look at this. Let's go back to square one. Neaniskos. We have how do you find out what Neaniskos is? You just ask a scholar and then they tell you.
I'm not fighting you on the,
you guys
on
both
the
said
word.
you guys both said we don't know the language like they do, right?
I'm not fighting you on the word.
I just kind of showed you how it works.
Didn't you say that though? We don't know the language like they do, right?
No, I'm saying we're building theories and ideas off of a false idea of how the language actually works.
Stop that. We have sources where they tell us this.
We're not fighting you on the ages.
I know. So what if nobody has ever like if I can't even find a single primary source?
Okay, now hear me out.
Neaniskos is a child.
Okay,
then I don't know what to say.
Hear me out. So yes, we're not fighting you that the word in most contexts is described as being, from what I find, 15 to 30, right? But what these scholars are saying is that particular character in the text is actually
cultic,
fitting the ritual of a prepubescent child in the Greco-Roman world, not of the 15 to 30, because it gets back to my original premise. If you're saying it's a 15 to 30-year-old and that is a ritual, what ritual is it mimicking, and why would they bring that ritual up, which we know of? You can look up, just type in fucking Google Greek ritual with 15 to 20-year-old Neaniskos, and it will tell you, and they're nothing with the linens, or anything like that. All of the Sindon and linens are with the prepubescent kids.
No, they're not.
Around 7 and 10 years old.
They're not always with the prepubescent. Not
always, but
yeah, you can't say that.
The majority of them.
This doesn't make it. None of this makes sense. By the way, what book is that from? Because I typed it in Gemini. I said, "What book is this from?" And it says, This does not appear to be a direct quote from Judith Gundry.
It's the least and the greatest children in the New Testament, 2001.
Least and the greatest. Do you have the book in front of you by any chance?
I can pull it up.
It says, if you found this in a paper or set of notes, it is likely the author is interpreting Gundry's broader arguments about the precarious presence of children and applying them to the Neaniskos figure.
So imagine though, like you think a story about
let's see what you're looking at.
All right.
Share your screen. Let's see what you're looking at.
I'm reading
because I like literally my next step. I'm not kidding. This is how serious I am about this. My next step, because it's just such a bizarre thing that people are. This one passage, people are so.
It cracks it all open.
Make it no, it doesn't because. Well, maybe it does. Okay, maybe it does for you, but it's just weird how so many people there's so many people who want this term to mean something else without any basis of it.
It's a transitional age before maturity for a young person. So I don't know what that age was. In Sparta, it was 7 years old. In another culture, it might be another age. I don't know.
Yeah. Share your screen, Tiger Shark.
Okay. I'm on Sage Journals, but I can't download the paper. So let me
Just show us what you're looking at.
give me a second, dude. I'm downloading the fucking paper, my guy.
I'm just saying you can just share your screen and show us exactly what you looked at.
I'm downloading. Dude, you need to chill out, man.
Oh, I just want to know.
Easy, everybody. We're getting tired.
I just want to make sure we're looking at good stuff here. We're not, getting bad information.
Why would I make this up?
I'm not saying you could have got from AI.
Now you're acting like I'm fucking Almond or something.
Well, about that 30 minutes.
Easy, everybody.
Somebody, so I don't know that just happened.
You're asking me to do quotes, dude. I haven't asked you once to do any quotes in this whole fucking thing. Do you want me to start asking you to do quotes? You know how fucking annoying that is? No,
but if you're citing a scholar who thinks this is a prepubescent child, it's like, whoa, that's a big fucking claim. Let's find out why they think this. What book is it from? Let's see. Let's look at it. This is a big claim. You could change the consensus. You could help change my audience's mind. We want to see this stuff.
All right, let me. I got to go to academia.edu to get it. So give me a second.
My AI thinks that you got a fake quote. Just saying. It happened to me before.
My AI versus your AI.
Well,
okay. I want to do something fun.
I'm hoping I'm wrong.
I want to do something just real fun. Okay. So when I say operative, right? You read a story about Cupid firing an arrow and people fall in love. So let's bypass all the hoo-ha with the mystery stuff. All right. So if I interpret that as like, oh man, the writer was telling me about this little winged little thing flying around shooting arrows, and they really believe that. That was weird. That's crazy. I guess this is an important story, and I guess there's a metaphor to why that thing I don't know, wanted to fire arrows or something, right? But the arrows are sudden attraction, loss of rational control, compulsion towards union, and a physiological and psychological shift that at the moment of impact, it instantly changes somebody in love. And if you've ever been in love with anybody, which I've had a couple examples of them, but I've had one real one hit me real hard. It's just like that. So when I'm telling you a story about a god, or I'm telling you about a force, right? And if I were to say that right now, and then 2,000 years from now, people took the words that I'm using to describe this moment or force, the physiological thing that comes over me, and they go, well, physiological must be a god. Do you see what I'm saying? That's what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. And that's why it cracks it all open. It's fucking crazy to me.
Well,
they turn physiological, or they turn the word whatever else into a character, and they're like, well, actually, but when they were speaking, they were speaking in encoded myth.
If you guys insist that this is a ritual, you just
I think they're cultic texts. I don't know, I haven't looked.
Let me finish. You insist that Mark 14 is a ritual. Some people think this. Some people think
no. I don't think it's literally a ritual. I think it's a cultic text, an operation.
Why is it
describing an operation?
Why can't you just do what Jonathan Z. Smith did and go, "This is what the information says"? I think it's based on Greco-Roman motifs. I think there's initiation going on. Boom. Why does it have to be? It has to be a prepubescent child. It has to be.
Okay.
Before
so that part makes everybody uneasy. I get that, but that would make sense that if you're doing all of these different rites, everybody else is doing it. We do it to our own.
There's a whole book called Ovid's Metamorphosis where he said Orpheus plucks the manhood from little children before they come of age. Orpheus did this. I'm not. This stuff exists. I'm trying to be. I can't just take that and apply it to Jesus because I want to.
Gotcha. Okay.
Sounds like Tiger Shark.
I'm breaking down the barrier of the language. Why that has been implanted later, and it hits the ego very hard. Like it hit me very hard.
Do we got this quote yet?
No, because I can't download the fucking paper.
Well, can you share your screen and show me what you read?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Because you copied and pasted it and put it in the chat.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, Gnostic, if it's not too much trouble, I only have about 15 minutes to spare. Is it cool if I share my screen for a second?
Yes.
And,
yes.
Plug this?
Yeah.
All right. So.
Yeah, baby.
Let's do it. So, guys, my name's Stephen M. Blackman. I go by Witch Doctor. I also go by Dan Hillman, Gnostic Attorney. Something that I've been working on for a little while. The reason why Chase and Tiger Shark are even in my circle of people is that we've been doing research on obviously all of this, and it's, I guess you could say, brought me to a couple of different perspectives and stuff. And so I'm a fiction writer. I write different stories around some of the stuff that we're talking about right here. So my first book that I released, which is available now on Amazon, if you're interested in something that talks about all of this, but with a slight twist that you might not be ready for, Secundus, Stephen M. Blackman, it's on Amazon. I'll go ahead and read y'all the description, because last time we were on for like 3 hours before I finally talked about it. And I was just like, I'll do it the next time. So here we go. Raised in the shadow of Rome's brutality, Secundus expected to become a warrior. Born the second son of Antonius Niger Athetes, a feared and respected warrior and now gladiator trainer of Capua. So if you guys watch Spartacus, that's in Capua for the most part.
Yeah. Oh, that region's super cool, dude. That's where like all the black market steroids or whatever you want to call these gladiators are healing themselves. They're getting jacked up on stuff. Yeah, and they're capturing Laestace in there.
Oh yeah. Well,
I don't know if it's in your book, but they were in the records.
You'll have to read it. You know, everybody
right.
watching will have to check it out. Secundus grows up watching his older brother Marcus rise through the sands of the arena. But when Rome's ambitions stretch into new lands, Secundus is swept into a world far harsher than the amphitheater. So from blood-soaked forest of Dacia, which is modern-day Romania, to the political tensions of Jerusalem, Secundus faces ambushes, loss, and psychological wounds no Roman training could prepare him for. Haunted by battle, shaped by gladiators, savages, and torn between duty and identity, he descends into the darkness required to survive Rome's wars. It's kind of a book about PTSD back when they didn't have a word for it. Yet everything changes when he encounters a man unlike any he's ever seen, a man whose words challenge the brutal logic of empire. As Secundus wrestles with violence and trauma, loyalty, he must decide who he will become, a weapon of Rome or something far more powerful. So you can check this out. And if you also, let's see, real fast, I'll type in, there is a prequel to this that I released not too long ago. It's only on Kindle. Antonius. So his father's a gladiator instructor. And so everybody wants to know who this mysterious, badass, untold prophecy type of warrior is. So after you read Secundus, check out Antonius. They're all available on Kindle. Secundus is actually free if you have Kindle Unlimited. And there's hard copies and soft copies as well. But I only have so much time tonight, guys. I really appreciate y'all bringing me on.
Yeah.
I do have a couple of pictures just of what we were talking about. I'm not going to really share them today, but it's just of what I was saying a minute ago about David and the anointing and how there's no real age given at the time, but you know, the youngest of the shepherd's sons or youngest shepherd's son. But anyway, that's all I got for you guys tonight.
Yeah. I went to the one I actually paid for. I paid $20 a month for Claude, for one of the best AIs. I didn't even ask it. I just typed it in.
Yep.
And it said that this quote does not appear from Judith Gundry. I'm not able to verify it as something she wrote. And several raised concern. And it goes right into the young man is not prepubescent, because literally everyone knows this. And then it says, I won't engage with validating this framing. If you have a genuine scholarly question, this is not a real passage. Correct. I cannot verify this is a real quote. I'm not.
Okay, so I got more for. I mean, I'm sharing my screen. Is it on there?
So you got it from AI.
Yeah. Why wouldn't I?
Well, I'd like to see a real book that says this, because this stuff. Cool. This stuff hallucinates stuff. If you ask it to find you a source, it will find it for you. It'll
do. Think I just told it to find
what did you type in? Let me see. Go up a little bit. What did you type in to get this quote?
Judith quote on the kid being prepubescent.
The quote you are likely referring to, Judith Gundry, frequently called New Testament, discusses the Greek term PAIS. So that's PAIS.
It often emphasizes that while the term can be fluid, in specific historical and literal context, it refers to a child who has not yet reached the social or physical threshold of adulthood. But what generally frames the kid as or child as a prepubescent person who is completely dependent on the household and lacks legal or social standing. This is
PAIS. On ancient Greek pederasty is what is really stopping the topic from moving forward.
Do you see why? Do you see my disconnect here? The word, no one disagrees that the word PAIS can be prepubescent. It's a child. Of course it can.
So she in particular, out of like all of the scholars, goes on to literally take the claim that it's prepubescent.
Not Neaniskos. She's talking about PAIS.
Right, but she's saying that the child in Mark, I mean,
In Mark 9. In Mark 9, not Mark 14.
Mark 9, Mark 10, 13, 16. She's talking
That's
about it
Mark
everywhere.
10, not Mark 14. That's
Okay.
Mark 10.
Okay.
Let's go to Mark 10 right now. Let's go take a look at it. Mark 10. And look at, I could do a word search and see the word PAIS. Idea. There it is right here. We're bringing the children. See, this is about children. This is not about the Neaniskos. This is Paideia. PAIS.
Dude, I just typed in Mark 14. You want to see what
This
she
is
says
Mark.
about
She
Mark 14?
said Mark 10. She's not talking about Mark 14.
She's
Look,
talking,
read what she says. She says Mark 9 and Mark 10. It
dude,
says
you
the
know
term
what I'm talking
Neaniskos
about?
can refer to youth, but
All
in
right,
the
all right, let's catch you up. Let's catch you up. Mark 14, right? She talks about the theme. Okay, so anyway, this is the quote. And I can't download her book because it's on some fucking.
the term Neaniskos can refer to. I tried to find that quote and it says there's nothing. It doesn't
That's
exist.
not the same quote.
The term Neaniskos can refer to a youth, but in the context of the market narratives focused on the status, it marks a transition from prepubescent to paidion to a young man who still lacks full authority of the pater familias.
This is her whole work, dude.
That's her book.
You think I'm just making this shit up?
Why is
I
this
mean,
all
I
hinging on one lady's word?
Well, that's a good point too. But I don't know if this. If I try to type this in, I can't find this book anywhere. First of all,
I can find it. I have it here. I just can't download it.
so can you show me the passage in there?
I can't download it.
And I'm not asking you to download it. Just look. Oh, you just have the book. So how did you get the quote from AI?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it's real.
I mean, you're gonna sit there and say
It doesn't
everything.
make sense that anyone.
Everything about AI is just hallucinating every fucking thing on the
It
planet.
does a lot. It does a lot. It does.
So how are you gonna prove that? I mean,
Well,
prove it.
I asked two different
What,
AI
what,
servers.
what quote from a scholar says that it's
I typed in the quote
15
in.
to 30-year-old kid? I mean,
I
where is
typed the
that?
quote in Gemini. You're using Gemini, so am I. I
Pull
typed
it
the
up,
quote in
dude.
Gemini, and it said it's not even real.
Pull it up, dude.
Pull up
Pull
Gemini.
up your quotes. No, pull up your quotes to say that it's not prepubescent.
I already showed you that.
Pull up your. I want to see quotes, man. Where's the quotes?
Here you go. Aristophanes, fragments. First there's a Merakion, then Merak, then
This has nothing to do with the ritual you're just looking at a word.
Neaniskos means young man.
Okay, I'm not disagreeing with you, but is in the ritual context, show me where Neaniskos is a ritual with a linen cloth. Where's the quote for that?
Wow.
Show it to me.
Why would I have to provide that?
Because that's the stance you're taking. You're taking the stance that the Neaniskos
I'm not taking any
is-
stance. I'm saying Neaniskos means a young man. It's not prepubescent. That's the only stance I'm taking.
We understand that, Neil. Yes.
Are,
Yeah.
I'm not
are,
disagreeing
are
with
we
you
in?
on the word. I'm
Are we in
talking
agreement?
about the ritual context, which we went over in Aristophanes, which we went over with the cult of
Look,
Medea and other
Let's do
cults
this. Let's do
earlier.
this.
Pausanias.
You got to find me that book and show me a physical. I mean, get the book somehow, because I'm trying to find this quote and it's not coming
He's
up.
not the only one, dude. That can you type?
I've never seen a single person ever say Neaniskos means a young prepubescent child. You gave me two fake quotes today.
I did not give you two fake quotes, dude.
Wait,
That's
so the one that you gave me in the private chat about Judith Gundry, that's a real quote?
You just keep saying everything that I fucking am giving you is bullshit.
Yeah,
So
you gave me two fake quotes today, dude.
No, I didn't.
Are we in agreement that these are cult
do it
texts
again.
or no? Right?
Can anyone else pull up their AI and type in this quote right now? Why? I literally typed it into Claude. I just typed it in. I didn't even say anything. I just took the quote and hit enter, and it says this does not appear in any books at all.
Here, let me take
This is
quote
not a
down.
quote that verifiable as Judith Gundry's work. And I'll reach out to Judith Gundry. I'll get a hold of her. I'll ask her.
Ask
I'll
her
do
and
that.
ask Smith too, by the way.
Smith's still alive. I think Jonathan Smith might be dead. But Jonathan Smith, that was definitely a fake quote that you gave me. There's no time. He didn't say anything about prepubescent.
It was the first one that I didn't say what?
He never
Now
said.
you're crossing up all the words.
Yeah, but
I
you
did
gave
not
me.
even say
You said
that.
you changed the word from.
I said
manual.
I said pre-adolescent, not prepubescent.
That's not what the Smith quote even says.
It's not a quote, dude.
Right, but I don't know. All right, let's give me some. Next time we do this, bring some real, not AI. Bring some real stuff, real sources, real books.
Hang on.
Show your screen.
Neil,
Because
can I please come on and explain something?
who's this?
Yeah, hang on. What does that say?
Or should we let him on?
I don't know who that is. Did you want to go over the burning purple real quick?
Yeah. Let me just read the super chat. I got a $50 super chat. I can't
Go
ignore
ahead.
this. Thank you, Savakamura. Thank you. Fucking love you. Seriously. Thank you. Slide
you,
13. Slide 13 hit the nail on the head. The lack of knowledge on, is this talking about Chase's slide? You there?
I think so, yeah.
The lack of knowledge on ancient Greek pederasty is what is really stopping the topic from moving forward. Understanding that topic sets the context needed for us to reach the conclusion we are looking for. Well, fine. We can learn more about pederasty, but why? Still, there's no PAIS. Pederasty, the word pederasty, literally has the word pied in it. Pederasty, it comes from paidon, child, not Neaniskos. So when Mark, whoever wrote Mark 14, when they use that word Neaniskos, they're using a term that's always used, and at least all the sources we have, the hundreds of sources that we have, always used for some sort of post-pubescent male. So there's never why the fuck in the world would I just assume it's not the word? Like if someone writes yellow, I don't go, I think it's blue. If someone writes plastic, I don't go, I think it's metal.
So
I just read the text.
But you're just assuming that they're 100% accurate in using that term.
Accurate on what? Why would I assume otherwise?
If I'm writing to a Greek, let me just frame it this way. If I'm writing something to a Greek audience intended for the Greeks to read and interpret and understand, and I'm writing about a ritual that they do,
yes,
and I fuck up and I say Neaniskos, but their ritual is like they're still gonna know what that is. They're like, oh yeah,
you don't even know if it's about that ritual. You don't even know if it's about that ritual because there's linen cloth. That's it. That's what you're going off of.
It's not just
because of all of it.
Because of all of it. What about the ones with people who are older initiates?
So then you're taking.
I don't really care about the age, but all the rites are mirrored all the way back to Medea, man. That's when we start getting the real thing, the recaptured of it.
You think initiates are always prepubescent? Always?
No.
Okay.
Oh no, it depends. But the liminal age is the most important because you can't. It's very difficult to do it with I think older adults, especially if you're forming like some kind of control over it, right? You know. So, and also it's different if you make it an empowerment right versus you make it a sheep right.
I know sources about the Elizini mysteries of grown adults getting initiated into the mysteries.
Yeah, because it was empowering. It was empowering. That's a big difference. You're not saved, you're empowered.
Philip and the mother of Alexander, Olympias, got initiated into the Elizini mystery, or on the Samuel's mysteries when they got married.
Yes, their rights were about empowerment. They were about empowering them, right? Are saved. This is because of this when I catch you right at the end of that experience where your identity is broken down and then you're rebuilding yourself, and that whole experience you just went through, I go, actually, you know what? This guy that I serve gave it to you, and you're going to need to sell your things and start following me because that's how you're going to get it from now on. As opposed to I empower you with like, look at how powerful your nature is inside of you, washed in the blood of a bull. Bull is much different than a sheep. Like, think about the strategic nature of that and why you'd want to do that with youth. Why would Hitler want to capture the youth? Why would we want to capture our own youth? Right? It starts to become empowerment is a totally different process.
I typed in a real quote from a real book, and Matt immediately knows what it is. When I typed in that quote, it doesn't know what it is at all. It thinks this is a fake quote from Judith Gundry. So look, dude, I don't think you intentionally tried to lie to me today, but maybe you just got tricked by AI. But that's
that's a dumb, retarded stance to have, dude.
There's not a single. I've never seen a single source anywhere that says Neaniskos is prepubescent. And today you try to give me two from scholars or PhDs.
I did not try to give you, dude. They're not trying to reinterpret the word to say Neaniskos means 10 or 12-year-old kid. You're totally
But
not
those-
even thinking
But
about
those
this in the
quotes
right
aren't
way.
even real, though.
They're real.
The first one wasn't real. The one you read that you couldn't find after that was
Go
real.
into your AI and type in, does Judith Gundry think the kid in Mark was prepubescent, and see what it says.
Does Judith, let me just get her name right.
Gundry.
Judith
You could probably even spell
Gundry
it.
think the Neaniskos in Mark 14 is
Pubescent.
It says,
Share your screen, dude.
based on my, here, I'll share my screen. It's still typing it up right now. Based on my knowledge, I'm not aware of Judith Guthrie holding that position. Her published work on Mark focuses on interpretive questions. The quote you submitted earlier is not something I can verify as hers, and I'd encourage you to go directly to her publication to see what she argues. Her key work on Mark is Mark in the new International Bible Commentary series. If you want to look up her position on Neaniskos Mark 14, and searching that commentary directly would be a reliable route. I will not speculate on that. I cannot verify what she wrote. So it's
That
saying
seems like some really terrible AI that you have.
this is the one. This is Claude. This is the best AI around.
That's debatable, but this seems
Are you serious?
terrible.
Claude is the best, dude.
This seems like a terrible fucking.
It's $20 a month. This is
So
like
you,
the one of the-
so,
this is
so
one of the
you
high
can't even
end.
type in if Judith Gundry's whole position is if the child, because it's
She never
literally-
said that, dude. You just got your AI told you that it's not real.
That's some bullshit, dude.
Well, then show me
Her
the book.
papers are
Show me the book.
literally.
Dude, if you're doing research with AI, you're gonna be fucked up, dude. I'm telling you.
Yeah, okay.
You're just asking AI
Yeah.
for questions that you're gonna get fucked
Yeah.
up.
I'm
You don't
probably,
think so?
You don't. So you have a better education than me and a better job than I do. Is that what you're telling me?
What about job? What do you mean job?
Dude. You're saying
No,
that if I use the AI, that you don't think I use the AI to get where I'm at today in my life?
I'm not talking about your job or where you're getting at. I'm talking about if you're doing
You're telling me that everything that I
if
use
you're
in my
doing
AI is
research
stupid
about the
because-
past and you're just asking AI questions and it's giving you stuff, you're gonna be fucked up, dude. And I can tell you that's an objectively true statement.
That seems like actually what you're going through because you're not able.
You just
to
gave me
actually
two
look through
fake
different
quotes,
scholars.
dude. You just gave me two fake quotes
They're not fake
in
quotes.
one day.
It's a synopsis of what their actual work.
Can
is
you
on.
provide me a real piece of a book or a source that says the Neaniskos in Mark 14 is prepubescent?
Yes.
Where? And then you keep searching on your computer for 10 minutes and then it never comes up.
Yeah, I'll download the papers for you so you have the actual
Okay,
quote.
that's what we'll do. And I'll make a statement showing.
And by the way, last night where you guys were spending 2 hours fucking around trying to find the quote about the burning purple, it took me about 5 minutes to find it on Gemini.
Are you
wanna
talking
go-
about Dioscorides?
No,
Where is it then?
it's Pliny, and it's not
Pliny the
purple,
Elder.
It's indigo. It's indigo.
And it's not burning purple then.
Yes, it is because
Let's
it
look at the
burns
quote.
fucking purple.
Hold on, let's look at it. Let's look at it. Pliny.
And it's
Natural
actually
history.
scientifically sound, and it is
Hold
a
on.
psychoactive that's mixed with Syrian rue and henbane. Those
Okay, that doesn't make it
actives-
burning purple then.
It burns purple when you
What's the
burn it.
quote? What's the quote?
Go to your AI. I want to see how retarded.
No, I'm
it is.
in Pliny. I'm in Pliny.
Go
I have-
ask AI. I want to see if AI can get it right. Your AI that you pay money for.
Okay.
Pull it up
If it's a
and
real
ask-
quote, it will get it.
Okay, let's see.
Okay, so let's see.
Now you're turning it. Yeah, you're
All
telling
right.
it.
What do you want?
I want
Where does Pliny Elder say what?
indigo. Just put indigo.
Mention
Find the other
indigo?
indigo, and it should populate something for you.
Boom.
Hopefully.
Watch how fast this is. Pliny Elder Natural book 35. Boom. Indica. Book 7. Book. That doesn't. If it was real, if it was fake, it wouldn't find it. If it's real, it finds it.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's
You
do
guys,
it.
you guys spent 2 hours last night dicking around with burning purple, and you couldn't find it.
But it's not purple. You can't change the color indigo to purple. What is
Indigo
wrong with
is
you, dude?
fucking-
You can't just change
Wow.
things around and make it work.
Wow,
You're
dude.
presupposing Amon Hillman for no reason. There's no burning purple. Which quote is it?
There's an idea of decay and heating when you're working with the Murex snail shell that causes the color to go from like a clear to a green to like a type of purple.
Here it is right here.
Hence the burning purple. It's a
All colored
transformational
to
process.
To all the colors which love a dry surface of white clay and refuse to be applied to are purple, indigo, blue. Is this it? Is this it?
You're going off your AI.
I'm
That apparently
I'm in Pliny right now.
I'm
I'm in Pliny right now. You're the one who made this is your source.
Hey man, this is your fucking AI, dude. You're telling me that I
I'm
lied,
in
and now you're lying to
Pliny.
me.
I'm in
You're lying to
Pliny.
me, bro. Good luck with your AI, dude.
Hold on. It says there's 3 different places that it mentions it, though. Let's go back to my AI. I'm asking you for your source, dude, and you're not.
Hey,
Now
I'm
you're
calling
fucking
you out
around.
on your bullshit. AI,
Okay, really?
Yeah.
Hey, look, it's also a reference in X51. It's also in 30. So it's mentioned 3 times. You think it's lying? I already found the first one, so it's obviously right about that. But I think you don't know that it's not burning purple. You're just finding colors and thinking, oh, that burns. It's the same thing. This is not how to do research, man. I'm just saying. Like,
dude,
this
you're
is really
off.
cool, dude.
Hey,
What am I looking
did you
for?
guys catch the Murex, like the snail shells, how it turns purple, like it through a process of
That's
the
where-
exposure of
that's
decay
where
and the
Ammon says
oxygen?
it comes from. That's where Ammon says it comes from the snail. He calls it burning purple because it's from Dioscorides. So it's
Right,
either
right,
that
right. But the color purple comes from the actual process of
Yes,
like the
that's
heat
what
applied to the
purple-
decay and stuff like that. So
That's what
like
the purple. That's
you
what
know,
the purple.
like
Okay, it's Neil. Go to
Turns
Natural
purple.
History 3527.
3527.
Yep.
Boom. All right.
And he
Right,
talks
gotcha.
about how they would prove that this is actually the real indicum from India, the indigo. They would burn it on hot coals, and it would produce a striking violet or purple vapor.
What the fuck does that have to do with burning almonds burning purple?
I'm not even talking. Who's talking about almond, dude?
Well,
You're
that's
talking about
the
almond.
whole claim. That you're saying the burning purple exists. That's Almond's claim. No, I asked Kyle Ruck what's burning purple. He had no idea what I even said. I don't know what that is. He never heard of it. Kyle Ruck never heard of burning purple. So if you're saying burning purple exists, you're presupposing almond.
You're presupposing I'm an almondite.
No, but
agreeing with
you just said burning purple exists, but it's indigo. So what are we doing? It's something
Pliny the
different.
Elder is talking about a psychoactive indigo from India that they would use in a ritualistic setting. It's also medicinal, and that those same ailments and treatments that they would buy it for in Roman medicine, they would also pair with other things that would treat those same symptoms, such as henbane.
But what
And
does
if
that have
you
to do with burning purple?
Because they would use it in a ritualistic context.
But
They
I don't-
literally
I
found
don't
an
understand
dude.
it. The claim has been.
Dude, you are so out. You are so.
Dude, are you high or
blind.
something? Do you understand?
Am I
Listen,
high? You're
listen,
asking me if I'm high. Wow.
Listen, the claim has been burning purple is this thing that extract from snails, and if you mix it with antidotes, it's a secret drug used for the
That's
mystery.
his
Right?
theory. I'm not taking that
So
position.
then why are you calling it burning purple then?
Because
why are you
Pliny
calling
the
it
Elder
burning
is talking about burning indigo to produce a flame to
No, it's not the
understand.
same thing. It's something different.
I'm not taking the position that Murex is.
And what are we doing? What are we doing then? It's just a waste of time.
Okay, let's actually wrap it up. And do you know anything about medicine in the Roman literature? I mean, why would they use indicum instead of Murex?
I just don't know. This is you're bringing up a whole new thing that has nothing to do with anything, and just
You're
going.
lost.
You're
You
saying
can't connect
you
the
said
dots.
last night. You said last night we're looking for burning purple. I found it in 2 seconds. That's what
Yeah,
you said.
I did.
This is not even the. This is not burning purple though.
Why isn't it burning
Listen,
purple? They're
listen,
using
what
this
you're
in a
doing-
ritualistic
listen,
setting.
what you're doing is basically saying you were looking for an elephant last night. Well, I found the giraffe in 2 seconds. But it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
Guys, go look it up on your own. Viewers, Pliny the Elder talks about it in a ritualistic.
Here, I'm trying to
setting.
find the passage. What you said it's from what? You said it's from what?
Go ask your AI, bro. I'm not going to keep doing all your fucking digging. for you.
AI says that indica's mentioned 3 times. So you gave me a passage and it wasn't there.
Now look up the scientific studies that people have done based off Pliny the Elder's work in medicine, and you'll actually find something, Neil. And stop accusing people
I'm
of
not,
fucking
dude. Are
lying
you
about shit
serious?
just
I'm
because
not
you don't
doubting that
understand
there's
it.
medicine in Pliny the Elder.
Bro,
I'm not doubting that.
You're air theorist. You're a sophist. You want
Dude,
to argue?
you don't
with
even
people.
know you are. This is the.
You should probably go argue with Andrew.
Are you sitting there saying that because there's medicine in Pliny the Elder that makes burning purple real?
No, it's used in a ritualistic setting, dude. You're not even. You
Let's
know that
read
they
the passage.
found. You know
Let's
that they
read the
found this shit like literally in caves. I mean, in
Let's read the
multiple
passage.
locations.
Indica. Indica's mentioned a whole bunch of times, dude.
Indica?
Yeah.
I gotta go, bro. You're on something. Peace out,
I'm
guys.
sorry, indigo. Yeah, dude. Your fake quotes. Get the fuck out of here. Fake ass quotes, dude. I can't believe I got lied to twice in one stream. And then he says the burning purple is real. The burning purple is real. He said, I found it in 2 seconds. And I go to it. It's not burning purple. It's indigo. I said indica by accident. And then I gotta, oh, he says he's made a mistake. I gotta go. Fuck off, dude. You lied to me twice, dude. That's fucked up. I don't like liars. I don't like liars. Don't waste my time with this shit. You gave me fucking AI quotes that I couldn't even fucking find. And then when I said, show me your work, he goes, hold on a second. And then it never came up. And then he said, then he literally said that Neaniskos is hundreds of times in the PGM. I did a word search for PGM. I'm gonna make this into clips. And I do a word search. Neaniskos PGM, zero hits. Didn't exist. This is what I mean, dude. This is like a mental illness or something. Like they need it to, it's gotta be a fucking little kid. And Jesus has to be a little kid. I know it. AI, find me a source. Find me a source where somebody thinks the Neaniskos is a prepubescent child. And if you keep doing that, it will eventually hallucinate a source. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this. I'm telling you, go to your AI and ask him to find you a source and be very specific. It will find it for you. It will give it to you. It does this all the time. And then it's not real. So let's find out. Let's look at this indica quote. I want to see what this is. I've typed in indica by accident. Indigo. I mean, it's his fucking source. Like he's like, ask your AI. Ask your AI. My AI said it's mentioned 3 times. And the first one I came up was correct. Here we go. Egypt. So indica, 4 drugs from. So it's just mentioning shit. And he just thinks that he just puts it in his head. He just thinks it's all sacred drugs. Like all the colors which love a dry surface. This is the one from 35. So we already saw this one. Here we go. Here, this might be it. Some colors are brilliant. The brilliant colors are dragon's blood, goldfinger, indigo, bright purple. The rest are sombre. I don't know what that is. Here we go. Indian blue. Here we go. Indian. Here is this is probably it. The finest part of Egyptian blue costs 11 denarii per pound. Pazuli blue is employed in the same way, and also near windows. Not long ago, Indian blue or indigo began to be imported, its price being 7 denarii. Painters use it for dividing lines. That is, for separating shadows from light. There is also a blue wash of a very kind called ground. His AI is bullshitting him, dude. His AI is fucking bullshitting him. There it is right here. It is the test of genuine Indian blue is laid when on burning coal and it should blaze. It is adulterated by boiling dried violets in water and straining the liquor through linen onto Erythraean earth. Its use as a medicament is to clean out ulcers. It's like the other purple stuff. Consequently, it is employed as an ingredient in plasters and also in catarrhs, but it is extremely difficult to pound up. There's nothing about mysteries or cults here. Medical. And it's not even the same color. And it's not even from the same thing, dude. Like Ammon'S telling people, go to Dioscorides. Look what Dioscorides says. He mentions the burning purple. But now we have to go to a genuine Indian blue, indigo, and that's the same thing for some reason. Do you not like this is I can't do this anymore. I gotta get off this, dude. I gotta get off this shit, dude. This is such a waste of time. Like this is such a waste of time. Don't you know, guys? Don't you know there's drugs in the ancient world? Don't you know there's people who are prepubescent? Don't you know that exists in the ancient world? Don't you guys know that there's prepubescent children in the world? Don't you know they exist? Yeah, well then what about Mark 14? Then why can't I apply it there? Look, I want to give you guys the quote from Judith Gundry. Can you guys go and look this up? Here it is. I want you guys to go and find this source. See if you can find that source. Ask your AI. Every single one of you, ask your AI that source. I'm gonna wait for you guys to tell me what the results are. The term Neaniskos can refer to a range of ages, but its placement here, alongside the motif of a childlike flowing, just a figure has not reached the status of man. It often points to a prepubescent or early adolescent stage. Judith Gundry. Everyone, please go and look that up on your AI. If you sit there all day and just plug and ask AI to do and say, look, what do you find me a source that says this? Find me a source that says this. You're going to be fucked up in research. That's not how you do research. Now, you can do that to find sources, but if you don't check the source, if you don't actually check and like get an actual, go online and actually get a real PDF, an actual official PDF of the book, or even physical copy, and check for yourself, go. That's why I have Loeb, dude. Get Loeb. Get you a Loeb subscription, dude. Seriously, look at this. Loeb. It's got everything. It's got everything. Lucian, Plutarch. If somebody makes a claim about something, and they say, "Oh, there's a source in Plutarch," you look. I found it in AI. It says that Jesus, or it says that Osiris had 12 disciples. You can literally go there and check. Disciple. You can look to the word, or go to the actual passage that AI told you it's in, and it's not there. You know what I mean? You'll find like these things will. You can verify. You can't just ask AI, find me a source that makes me happy. That's what he's doing. And then I go, let me see. Can I see what you're looking at? And they go, I can't show it to you. I can't. I have to download it. I have to think about this. This is like, you want to know why I was getting so mad, guys? I'm going to tell you why I'm getting mad about this. When I was in my late teens, early 20s, before I went to prison, I hung around with some shady fucking people who will lie right to your face, steal your money, and then help you look for it and keep a straight face the whole time. And I know over time, I learned to watch out for the characteristics when someone's doing that to me. And Tiger Shark, this whole night, I just can tell. I just knew it. I just knew the way he was acting. When I said, hey, okay, you got a source? Yeah, the scholar, you're going against the scholars, bro. All the scholars disagree with you. Okay. Which ones? Well, do you know who Jonathan Z. Smith is? Yeah, I know who the Jonathan Z. Smith is. Anyone studying religion knows who Jonathan Z. Smith is. So what is the quote? He gives me a quote. He literally reads it off his computer. Jonathan Z. Smith says, the 10-year-old boy is I wish I can go back and watch. I wish I can actually I wonder if there's a way I can go and watch my own stream back while I'm live. Can I do that? I want to hear exactly what the quote was. I want to find that quote right now. Oh, I can do it on Witch Doctor stream. Okay, I can share my screen.
They're taking semen from a virgin.
Leader of the. Oh no, Mystagogue is the leader of the initiates.
Yeah, he's the.
Yeah. So it's not a virgin.
In the tomb, right? And in
logos is how you.
This text is
not now. If I don't know what's going on.
I don't know what's going on.
At this now, things.
It's very sophisticated.
Get the easiest route for you because you're asking me.
My opinion on Mark 14.
You Aristophanes, you read
what's going on in Minder. He calls it Aristophanes. It's Aristophanes. Aristophanes. Well-born girls trying to make us
read the quote or
yes. Here we go. Pull it up if you can, because this is getting kind of weird now. See, you can. I think you guys are just looking for things and going, "Oh, there's a kid here." This was the moment I realized I was getting bullshitted. That something was up. I was like, it was like back in my drug addict days when I was dealing with those people who would say something or they would like make something up. Like, I got a check coming next week, bro. Can you spot me $20? I got $500 coming in next week. Can you spot me $20? Like that type of shit. This is I literally got triggered in my mind. I got triggered back to that moment. There's a super chat coming in. Thank you for this super chat. this linen here. Oh, this purple over here.
$7.
And then like you're
No,
presupposing Ammon's view.
Super.
Pretend Ammon doesn't even
What do
exist.
you mean you got?
$100 tier on Patreon. When
You know
I
what's
get
funny
paid
is 'cause-
again, we can put an end to this. Ammon has amalgamated a proto-hypothesis and says it's fact.
Ammon has an amalgamated proto-hypothesis and says it's fact. Yeah, I know. But this guy keeps claiming I'm not an Ammon, I'm not an Ammonite. Then why do you keep finding, why are you trying to find all of his stuff? Why are you trying to find the prepubescent child? Why are you trying to find, you claim to find, he goes, you guys were bitching around about burning purple last night. I found it in 2 seconds. And it's not burning purple. It's something different. Why are you calling it burning purple then? It's not the same thing.
Guys, I'm telling you, Jonas, in the bare facts of ritual, if you want
Listen
to
to
go
what he
ahead and
said.
pull
Listen
that
to
up,
what he
pull it
says.
up.
Read the quote again. He's talking about Mark in general. He doesn't even say Mark. He does mention Neaniskos, but that's what I'm trying to figure out. So why does he think it's weird? Let's find that quote now. Let's go back. Go back to when he's reading. Let's watch him when he's reading. He'll be reading something. Oh, fuck. It's froze.
Fun story. So there's certain tribes that would capture seven.
Go ahead, Chase. It's actually funny.
Which quote? All right, let's look at this.
Someone who's not.
I don't know what he's talking about now. He's doing what the 10-year-old. You guys are. I'm not. They just say children.
Prepubescent. Okay, let me find prepubescent.
Is 9 okay? Is 8 okay?
He just literally goes, let me find prepubescent. Look at him getting on his computer to type in to AI. Give me a source that has a prepubescent child.
Okay, is 11 okay?
Prepubescent.
Number from?
Sense. I mean,
Here we go. Where did that number in general? I would a 10-year-old. The 10.
Asking where a lot of shit. The text very
Here we go.
a 10-year-old. We're talking about that's one source. Then we
All right, here we go. You guys are all witnessing. He's going to read a quote, an actual quote from Jonathan Z. Smith. Ready? There's an actual quote here. Am I crazy? Am I in the wrong for thinking I was just lied to? He's reading a fucking quote right here. Watch him.
have their COEs, the
is this what
Anesthesia Festival. We're talking about 10-year-olds entering into adulthood. The Greeks also had a major ritual for. We're talking about in that boy.
What is? You're right. No, it's
because
very specific number.
Doing this
No.
today with and you said, well, everybody knows there's 10-year-olds, and we started this off to our year-old because all in Mark.
But there's no 10-year-old in Mark. What was he referring to? You just read a quote from here we go. Single ritual. I don't see a 10-year-old.
What
10-year-old?
To his works, he's like those. He's saying it is. Also agrees with this. Jonathan.
So it might be a minority view, but it's somewhat like you can see it has some meat and bones behind it.
You know who Jonathan Smith is?
Yes, Jonathan Z. Smith.
He also agrees with this.
Really?
Absolutely.
Wow. Absolutely.
So you want to
absolutely, he said. Absolutely.
You want to say it doesn't? It's not a thing, bro. He's saying it is.
Let's show me a quote. You just keep saying this guy believes this.
Jonathan a Titan in religious studies often compared Markan themes to the Greco-Roman mystery religions, like those of Mithras, as we just talked about.
Everyone agrees with that. Hold on. Markan themes
focused on how ritual time works. He suggested that the 10-year-old or young adolescent was the perfect vessel for these stories because they are liminal. They are in the in-between stage. By using Neaniskos, Mark was signaling to his Hellenized Greek-thinking audience that Jesus' death was not just an execution, but a mystagogic mystery teaching event.
So you read a quote to me that wasn't real.
That's from Jonathan Smith.
What 10-year-old is he talking about?
Because
now I'm trying to be like I immediately felt some bullshit was going on, but like who am I to just call him a liar flat out? Like, I'm like, okay, let's see. Can I look at this? And watch what happens when I ask him.
Because in every single ritual that...
Where? I haven't seen a 10-year-old yet. I haven't seen a 10-year-old yet. You haven't shown me one 10-year-old yet. You keep saying every single ritual. I haven't seen one yet.
So what do you consider a virgin?
Anyone who hasn't had sex yet.
Those who haven't calved yet.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So
calved, not sex.
Wait, hold on. You just read a quote from Jonathan Z. Smith about a 10-year-old. What was he what was he referring to?
He was referring to Mark 14 and Mark.
But there's no 10-year-old in Mark 14.
He's referring to the Neaniskos as a 10-year-old because
where is he getting 10 from?
Because
I'm very confused about all this
rituals are using a 10-year-old virgin boy, like I had said.
Where?
We started this off today with, and you said, well, everybody knows there's 10-year-olds in doing this.
No. I'm not denying that there's, but where's you said 10 is a very specific number. I'm assuming you have there's something about a 10-year-old.
Okay, so let me go back to slide 1 then, because you don't understand what I'm talking about. So in Pausanias,
no, you're right.
sacrificial child, Pausanias, 2nd century, right, is a gold mine for this.
Pausanias?
Pausanias.
What does he say? I have him right here.
Artemis. He describes a ritual where Patre was the most beautiful boy and girl were sacrificed to Artemis every year until their practice was stopped. These children were consequently described as being in that 10-year.
Okay, I'm just trying to show you guys where this is like brain dead shit right here. He just found a source where children are sacrificed to Artemis. What does that have to do with Mark 14? Is he trying to say that Jesus is sacrificing a child in the garden? Is that what he's trying to say? Because of the age? Because there's a ritual involves a certain age, they're all the same? I can't do it, dude. I cannot sit there and think and take this seriously. This is such bad fucking research. This is so fucking dumb. This is so bad. This is like, I don't know, man. I don't know what to say about this. I gotta go. My dog wants to go for a walk. We'll go for a walk. Don't worry. Come on up here. Say hi to the audience. What are you doing? Oh, I'm gonna get caught on my thing. All right, let me read these super chats out and get going. I'll join your $100 tier on Patreon when I get paid, and we can put this to end. Ammon'S elevated a proto. Look, you don't have to join my $100 Patreon. Join the Patreon, and I actually got to check my messages on there. I haven't done that in a minute, so thanks for reminding me. But I'll, yes, thank you for your support. I appreciate it. You already gave me 50, dude. You already gave me 50. You don't got to give me more than that. Thank you for Sava. I'm so happy that I have a chat that is like on the same level as me right now.
At Sabakomora 7,282.
Show your sources.
Super chat. When he read it off, the chat blew up, calling BS. Aside, honestly, though, getting to the heart of the Ammon'S argument is possible. It's not complicated.
Yeah. You know, Mandy, if Mandy's still, I don't know if Mandy's still in the chat. Mandy found this book, The Chemical Muse. And when I was looking through Chemical Muse, it made a lot of sense that this is what Ammon'S trying to do. He's looking for double entendres that don't exist. Because like there might be a source that uses the word foot for scrotum or something, and they like use the word foot in place of it. In that particular text, you can tell because there's context. So that doesn't what these people try to do then, and it's not just Ammon, it's Tiger Shark, it's a lot of these people do this. They then think that they have a license to look for every single time where the word foot is used, and then they're all the same. Then it's all secret, like mystery stuff. Like I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. I can't get behind something that just doesn't make any sense. I'm just trying to be. I'm at a loss for words with what just happened tonight. I'm at a loss for words. Look, I guarantee you. By the way, has anyone looked up that quote from their AIs? Did anyone type that quote in their AI and find the book? Let me check the chat. Bottom line, there is no verifiable primary source currently attached to those two quotes, unless the person who posted them provides a citation, book, article, page. Yes. Grok says not real. Dude. Grok says not real. Let's see. Anyone else check this? Claudius Galen is produced. Yeah, everyone. This is Galen. Everyone knows about Galen. I already brought up Galen in the beginning of this. We know who Galen is. This is another thing I notice about people like this. They go, but the drugs exist in the ancient world. Yes. But there's little kids in the ancient world. Yes. But purple's mentioned in a bunch of texts. Yes. But I don't know. What's the next? Oh, Sindone. The person's wrapped in a Sindone. So what? Oh, so we can put them all together and then say that what's happening in Mark 14 is equal to whatever the fuck you want it to be. You just insert your own answer. Do you see, like, is this not? I'm sure my audience needs to understand, like, how stupid this is. Did anyone else check for that? Check for that quote. I mean, what else do you want me to do? That's why I asked 2 different AI sources to see. Usually when you have a real quote and you type it in AI, it'll know what it is. There's a chance that this exists, but I don't believe it because it doesn't make sense. It's going against, it's basically like finding a scholar. It says purple equals yellow. Like, that's just not what the word means. Did anyone else check for that source? I know why he couldn't share his screen. Because it doesn't exist. Duh. Trust me, I've dealt with liars before. This is what they do. Hey, I got $100 in my pocket right now.
I'm running an analysis.
Is it really a mystery? Is it really a mystery that why he couldn't share his screen?
I'm running an analysis and consent result.
Is it really a mystery why he couldn't share his screen? Email. I'm running an analysis and consent result. What do you mean analysis on what? Email's on my YouTube channel, but I do got to get going in like a minute, so appreciate that. My email's on my YouTube channel though. When he read it off the chat, blew up calling BS. Yeah, I know. Yeah, thank you for that. Let Chase talk. I did. This person, this is so funny. I don't think anyone understood what, it went right over their heads. They thought it was funny. They thought it was stupid. They didn't understand it. Why, does anyone have an idea why I said this? Neaniskos, like male, small male, iskos, small male, right? That's like, so, okay, that's fine. You want to do the etymology of the word. Iskos is a diminutive. It means smaller, right? Does anyone ever use this word that way? That would be the same thing as me going back and finding the word butterfly and going, butter, fly, it's butter that flies. And then literally the source is like, and the caterpillar turned into a butterfly and it flew away. And I go, huh, did you know caterpillars can turn into butter with wings and can fly? That's why this is what I'm talking about. You have no level of comprehension. That's what's so ironic about this super chat. You're so dumb that you didn't understand it. That's how this is like the most funniest thing ever to me, that you still don't get it. And you're here dropping money to me to try to show me that this is funny, but you don't get it. He didn't slip up. He straight up lied. I know. It doesn't exist. Here's the thing. The thing about AI is you can type in quotes from books and it always knows what it is. But if you ask it to give you a source, if you literally say, find me a source that says this, it will hallucinate. A lot. Like very, very often. I could probably try to show you right now, actually. Watch this. Here, let's see if we can do a demonstration of how this works real quick. Let me share my screen. Let's do Gemini. Can you give me a primary source that says Jesus was 8 years old when he was crucified. Actually, this might be a little too like off. Source that says Osiris had 12 disciples. Maybe that'll do that one. Because it might be like a little bit more. Oh, never mind. Gemini didn't find it. You know, it's not going to always hallucinate. But maybe I was just getting a little too cocky there with that one. But I don't know. I know anyone who's dealt with AI long enough knows it does hallucinate sources. It does it all the time. Add solidarity to the talk and do Purple Man slideshow. Drop the 10-year AI angle. The chat is aware. Let's be cool and share info. Stop record. Thank you for that. Gaddis Abramovich, thank you for the 5. You people get brainwashed into culture beliefs if you're going to be re-brainwash them into a new thing. Drugs, trauma, sex is fallback strategy and code ritual. Yeah. There's something weird going on with this stuff, dude. Something weird. People are like possessed by this idea, by these ideas of burning purple and Jesus in the garden. There's something weird going on with this stuff. The people are like possessed by it. He's got to be prepubescent. Of course he is. Everyone agrees with me except for you. Neil, just look at this like Kurt Metzger. Thank you for that. Bach and Pan, thank you for the super chat. While there are rituals taught in the Gospels by imitation, I feel Mark 14 isn't a ritual, comparable ritual in text. How would it serve Paulinity? I don't know. Look, the real quote from Jonathan Z. Smith, the one that he produced after the fake one, that says, young man, it didn't say child. I think what's happening with the young man in Mark 14 was some sort of initiation. I don't have a problem with that because it's not trying to change the words in the Greek. It's not trying to make me confused. It's just, here's the data. Here's what I think. There's nothing wrong with that. You can have as many opinions as you want. Just don't fuck with the data. Leave the data what it is. Oh, it actually means young boy. It actually means young girl.
1,842 dropped $5 super chat. I missed the beginning. What do you think is going on with the Neaniskos, or do you even think it should be taken literally?
What do I think is going on with the Neaniskos? Like I said, I think it's a strange passage. I don't have a dogmatic stance on it. So it's just like there's a whole bunch of theories on what's going on here. Some scholars think Jesus resurrected someone in the garden just now, and it's trying to like hint at some sort of resurrection that just happened. I think that's a weird interpretation. Others, like Jonathan Smith, think there's an initiation happening, some sort of initiation. I don't know. It's a weird passage. I just don't know. I don't have a stance on it. And it's fine that just because you don't have a stance on it doesn't mean you can tell other people their stance is wrong. If I think your stance is wrong, I'm going to say that doesn't make any sense. I don't care if you have a PhD. I don't care if you're a stoner. If you make a claim about something, and I think it sounds stupid, I'm going to say, I don't think that sounds right. So, anyways, I'm going to end this stream then. And I had fun. I actually did have a little bit of fun. Look, I just know I can't wait to get to the bottom of this. I'm actually not done with this. I'm going to track these books down once I'm done streaming. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. I'm going to track these books down and find exactly if there is a source or not. If there isn't, that's a problem. Like, dude, you're coming on my channel and being dishonest. If there is a source, I'm going to apologize. Sorry, bro. My AI said you were lying. And but then like why was he getting all mad at me for looking up his source? Like towards the end, when I was looking up for the indigo thing, he kept going, ask your AI. He was getting super angry at me. And I think it's because he knew that he got called out for being a bullshitter. And it doesn't even make any sense the way he was saying. I found the burning purple. And I go, this isn't burning purple. And he says, but I'm not saying it's burning purple. You remember that part, right? He literally said, I'm not saying it's burning purple. Why are you calling me an Ammonite? You called it burning purple. So I'm actually done dealing with these people, to be honest. It's not worth it. All right, you have just attained true gnosis.
You have just attained true gnosis. The demiurge has no power over